boy Tim, the handsome liberal, depending on who you ask. Welcome to the show. Happy Thanksgiving to you all. We're one day from that annual holiday, and we're gonna have a show. We're gonna have a after dinner show. We'll call it dessert with the handsome liberal. We'll talk about it, but it'll be later in the evening. I want you folks to be able to watch. I want you to be able to enjoy your family and enjoy those three games. So it's going to be a late show. We'll probably come on 9 or 10, but nevertheless, we'll talk about that as the show goes on. But it'll be a dessert with the handsome liberal tomorrow after the Thanksgiving festivities. We will do a show. Anyhow, as you may be aware, a couple members of the National Guard were wounded critically in Washington, D.C. Now, they just had another press conference with Kash Patel, the head of the FBI, stating that it's critical, despite earlier reports being released that were suggesting that there were fatalities. No fatalities as of yet. So in the comments, I see Saul says, who said that? No, Alpha says it's too early to talk about this shooting. No, it's not too early to talk about it because there's been responses to it. It is by no means too early to talk about this. President Trump has already released a statement and also plans to take action in regards to what happened on it. So it's not too early because it's being covered every damn where. So I don't know what you mean by it's too early to talk about the shooting, but in regards to talking about the shooting, and we do have a couple other topics I do want to run by you, but this one is obviously the most dear with two members of our military being wounded critically. And according to the reports released, they were targeted. So this was done intentionally. Taking on the military, that's nothing short of a death wish. You don't normally get away with that. And it doesn't appear as if the guy in today's case got away with it either. In fact, he was wounded and he's in the hospital as well. Whoever did this is in the hospital as well. So they didn't get away with it. How long do you think it's going to be before people start talking about what party the shooter was affiliated with? It's a liberal, it was a conservative. How long do you think that's going to be before somebody's going to start tying the political affiliation of the wannabe assassin to what took place? Now, keep in mind, a lot of these things that happen, there's no political affiliation whatsoever. I'll give you a few cases. BLM is often referred to as liberals. The individual that tried to take out, or better yet, the individual that tried, he did take him out. The individual that took the life of Charlie Kirk was referred to as liberal. I don't think a lot of these folks that do this stuff are sick in the head and they don't vote at all. They do not vote at all, but yet in our politically divisive climate, everybody wants to say it was your guy that did this, but we'll see what ends up happening. Now, considering why the National Guard is in D.C., it could be a host of folks that do not want them there, namely criminals. Could be that. Could be folks that do not like President Trump. Could be folks that do not like the deportation agenda of President Trump. So it could be a host of reasons why this happened. I see in the comments already the Blue Baron says he's a Democrat. I'm just going to say this in regards to suggesting that these individuals are Republicans or Democrats. First question I always ask is, prove it. Prove that this person voted left. Prove that they voted right. Oftentimes, like with Charlie Kirk's assassin, oh, he had a transgender roommate. The right makes it clear. The right makes it absolutely clear they don't have a problem with the transgender community at all. So why assume that someone who is in a relationship with somebody that's transgender leans left? Is it because in reality, maybe the right is lying about not having a problem with the transgender community and they know that the perception is that the right hates transgender people? Meaning that anybody who is sympathetic to this trans community would never lean right? Because if the right has no problem with the transgender community, why automatically assume anybody that's trans is left? They could be right. Think about that. So we're going to ask right off the bat, President Trump immediately stated he wants to send an additional 500 guardsmen to DC. He wants to activate 500 more after two people were wounded. Two guardsmen were shot. Right off the bat, I'm going to ask you: does this shooting in DC validate that there is a legitimate need for the guard there? Does now that you've had two of them shot, does that mean that Trump? I don't know where my hat is. My Trump was right hat. I'll hold it up and ask: does this mean that President Trump was right? That the National Guard was indeed needed in DC? Because he's now intending to send 500 more guardsmen there. Now, I see some of you folks are saying no, and of course, some of you folks are saying yes. Does it validate the need that the National Guard should have been sent there? I also want to ask this: in your humble opinion, why are the National Guard in DC? What is their purpose of being in DC? Now, obviously, the claim is to lower crime or whatever reason is being used, but I'm going to ask you from a simple standpoint of, like, remember the Iraq War, weapons of mass destruction? Others suggested Saddam Hussein was killing his own people. Now, being able to armchair quarterback the entire event, many suggest it was over oil, or it was in regards to avenging Saddam Hussein's attempted assassination of George W. Bush's father, George H.W. Bush. I'm asking flat out, is there an actual hidden, unstated agenda in regards to President Trump deploying the National Guard to D.C.? Such as maybe to get back revenge of some sort or stick it to the liberals, because DC is not the most crime-ridden city in America. Why are they there, and why are they not in many cities that have more crime than DC? So I want to ask right off the bat: is there some other agenda for why the National Guard is in DC that has nothing to do with crime, or do you believe it's solely all about crime? Why are they there? It's a host of cities in America that have a higher crime rate than DC, and there are no National Guard in those cities. Why are they in DC if the whole thing is about crime? So I'm going to ask that question. And like I said, 500 additional National Guardsmen. Do you think that's a good idea? Now, the Guardsmen that were wounded, they are West Virginia. So these are West Virginia National Guardsmen from West Virginia. Now, West Virginia is right in the area, but I believe they have sent National Guardsmen all the way from as far away as Louisiana and Tennessee into D.C. I believe there's been National Guardsmen sent from all over the country to D.C. because President Trump called for them, and there's going to be a whole lot of right-wing governors that are happy to give President Trump what he wants. Because we covered this when President Trump had the Tennessee National Guard in D.C., and we asked the obvious question: Memphis, Tennessee is considerably more violent than D.C. Why are your National Guards from Tennessee in Washington, D.C., and not in Memphis when you have a city in your own ranks that's more violent than where they're going? Why would they be sent 1,000 miles away to D.C. when you got a city in your own state that's far more? I believe Memphis is number one. I believe in terms of the most violent cities in America, Memphis is at number one. So why the hell are your National Guard in D.C.? Why are they not deployed throughout the streets of Memphis? I believe that has since changed, but this is what happened in the beginning. So we do want to talk about that. I want to get your opinion on it. Whether you think the National Guard, and by the way, if you do not believe the National Guard should be in DC, is there any chance that any of you might suggest that President Trump has blood on his hands? I know it's a strong statement, but many believe that we should have never been in Iraq. Therefore, many believe that the 6,000 plus service persons we lost in Iraq, they believe a lot of that was blood on the hands of George W. Bush. Because you're sending these folks into harm's way for something that's unnecessary or should not happen. Do you believe that President Trump has blood on his hands in this case, sending them into harm's way, potentially unnecessary? Last question on this particular topic before we move on is We have police officers that get shot and killed all the time in the line of duty. On my Facebook page, I actually acknowledge them on my own personal Facebook page. I go from the Officer Down Memorial page, odmp.org. They tell you about all the officers around the country that lose their lives in the line of duty. And I pay homage to them on all of my pages. You don't ever hear an officer shot and killed in the line of duty and someone says we need to put 500 more cops on the street because of the loss of this one life. Now, in the case of DC, no lives have been lost at all, but yet Trump is going to ramp up with 500 more military personnel. Not only did no one die, the perpetrator is in custody. So why would you send in 500 more service personnel unless he's just potentially looking for an excuse to increase the number of people there? So we're going to talk about that. Now, in addition to that, we got a couple other topics I want to run by you. One being, I mean, everybody's aware that Marjorie Taylor Greene stepped down. We've covered it many times already since it took place about a week ago. But the Democrats, the Democrats are floating rumors that more Republicans are likely to follow her before the midterms. What do you think are the chances that other Republican Congress, senators even perhaps, but certainly Congress, what do you think are the chances that other Republican congressmen, congresswomen will resign? We're not talking about losing in the midterms. We're talking about resignation similar to Marjorie Taylor Greene. Do you think there's any chance that's going to happen with more Republicans in Congress before the midterms? If so, I would sure like to know who do you think that may be and why the hell would they do it? So, and last but not least, this one ought to be a fun one. I just want to ask you folks, Thanksgiving in politics, what are you politically thankful for this year? We're gonna take. Are you thankful for a new administration? Obviously, this time last year, Biden still had a couple more months in office before Trump's inauguration, so Biden was still officially our president this time last year. So, are you thankful for a new administration? What are you politically thankful for this year? So those are our topics. You know how the program is ran the same way it's always ran. We don't block, ban, or censor any damn body on this program. We don't even have a moderator. Been doing this 4 years, 4.5 years. We don't have a moderator. So you don't have to worry about when you're on the program with somebody blocking you, trying to ban or censor you. We don't do that here. We believe in free speech. We'll always back that up. We'll always remain MAGA friendly. Liberals are welcome on the program as well. We go left of Bernie Sanders. How about this? We go left of Zohan Mandami to having dinner with Q. How about that? We believe in free speech on the program. Always have, always will. So looking in the comments, how does races can fit in all this? You have to add races and car. I don't get your question there. You said something about the race card there, Prince. Don't know what you mean there. Who got shot in D.C.? 2 National Guardsmen were wounded critically. I don't think they've released the names or anything like that of the individuals, but they were part of the West Virginia National Guard. So I'm assuming their relatives have already received the chaplain visit. You know how that is. People come and knock on your door and you open the door and this, oh shit, somebody got killed. Well, this case, somebody's been critically wounded. So, and by the way, critically means that, they still could be fighting for their lives. So looking in the comments, I wouldn't be surprised if it's another deterrent from those files. You think at this point that they can successfully deter people from the Epstein files? And by the way, in my opinion, if the liberals want to continue sticking it to Trump, they should hold on to the Epstein files like a dog on a bone. They should keep pushing that. Let me go straight to the box. We'll go straight to Sherbert. Good evening, Sherbert. Welcome to the program. So what do you think? 500 more troops to DC. What say you?
I mean, he had to do it before the midterms. Why not now?
He had to do what?
Add more troops, really occupy the cities. So when everything goes to pot, he's still in charge.
So you don't believe this is in relations to making sure the city is safer. You believe this is kind of like protecting the castle.
Yeah. I mean, your analogy of police officers was probably dead on. and especially if no one was actually unalived.
Yeah.
Then this is just fear mongering to another level when he adds. I'm not sure how many troops were there, but probably another fourth more of them.
Yeah. My first question would be, could this have been prevented if there was 500 more troops? I mean, if somebody just wants to get into a shootout, doesn't matter how many hundreds of troops you have there. I mean, this person just took a position and started firing, apparently.
I mean, you really can't account for crazy people all the time. I haven't heard very much other than this just happened. But you put the opportunity out there to bring people that shouldn't be there and piss everyone off that we have a dictator trying to occupy our streets. Somebody's going to do something about it.
So you sound like you do tend to believe that they don't need to be there, that this is an unnecessary deployment.
Well, they did get rid of all the groundskeepers. So, I mean, we need somebody to rake leaves.
So if they're not necessarily needed there, and yet they're there anyway, and two of them get wounded while being where they don't really need to be, do you believe this may be blood on Trump's hands?
There's a lot of blood on Trump's hands, and this is just a couple more drops.
Wow. What do you mean we said there's a lot? What else has he done? Are you off the coast of Venezuela talking to me?
That's definitely some of it. But The first thing that comes to mind is shutting down U.S. aid. Ooh. And not giving out medications to the rest of the world when we easily could, which then also props up our economy because we're paying for those things directly, ideally getting a better price. But we could save literally thousands to millions of lives a year. And they just said, nah, we don't like it.
I seen the comments. One of my viewers, Jamin, says no blood on Trump's hands, but right above him, he says, one of the other viewers, Pepsi, says Satan and karma are coming for Trump. Satan. God.
Not today, Satan.
You don't think Trump has done anything worthy enough of a trip to hell, do you?
You already know my opinion on this, Tim.
I mean, I know you don't think the guy is governing properly, but we're talking hell, Sherbert.
Tim, I think he's the Antichrist. Of course he belongs there.
God damn.
I've talked to you about this many times. He follows a lot of what the Antichrist would do. And there's not really a good reason that you can defend against it other than, oh, I like his smile. He's a good person. Yeah, that's what they say about the Antichrist.
Well, the man's
going to have a good smile and trick everyone.
Sherbert, the man sells Bibles. Would the Antichrist have his own Bible? It's a bit much. He sells his own Bible.
No, Tim, the Bible doesn't say anything about our Constitution. The religious leaders of this country have denounced that when they are thinking critically about it. You should never mix the government and God together like that, because then you're not following God, or you're not having a true democracy. So no, it's pretty evil, and the Antichrist probably would do that when you subvert the nature of God.
And I see Johnny 11 says straight to heaven. Chris, we are talking about the DC breaking news. That's exactly what we're talking about. I'm tuned into it on News Nation behind all of these cameras here. But so I don't know. I mean, 500 more of these folks, and you're seeing it as a potential effort to defend the castle. So you expect mayhem come the midterms. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, yeah. I imagine there's going to be a lot of trouble with people voting.
Voting how? What do you mean, like closing polling places, or what do you mean trouble?
Intimidation, closing all but like one polling place. You know, the same way they went after Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene about not releasing Epstein files, they will start hounding anybody that is actually is going to run against Trump or his minions.
Wow. And so when you say intimidation against voting, are you saying that it might, the average voter, the average constituent might feel unsafe when they go cast a vote?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there was a false flag right before the election. Oh, we can't do it. Oh, I'm sorry. It's just too dangerous right now.
Wow. That's the whole Zelensky argument, because the Ukraine is overdue to have an election, and that's what Zelensky stated is we can't hold an election right now. We're in war, And Trump made the comment of, well, is that all it really takes? I mean, Trump kind of indicated that that might be something he would consider doing. Andy, appreciate that, I think, but thank you. But Trump made that same reference. So you could see potentially just creating mayhem for the simple sake of delaying the election.
Oh yeah, I mean, if he could cancel it, you know he would.
Well, he said he doesn't.
At least I know he would.
He said he doesn't want a third term, Sherbert. That sounds sinister, man. That laugh. So you do believe this 80? He will be 83 at the time. You do believe at 83 he would try to seek another term?
100%. And as someone who has never apologized for anything or didn't think he did anything wrong for January 6th, he's someone that wants power. It's so incredibly clear, and he's not a good person.
Bro, he
so
has.
Why would he actually follow the rules and leave when it's pretty clear that a lot of MAGA supporters will just go, yeah, he's what we want.
So now keep in mind, MAGA, particularly folks on the right, make it clear they are staunch supporters of the Constitution. Appreciate that clue.
No,
Thank you. Well, that's what they say.
Don't even start with that shit. They're not fans of the Constitution because when Trump said we need to get rid of the Constitution, they went, yeah, he's right. No, I'm not fucking hearing that today, Tim. They didn't give a shit about it.
Wait, when did Trump say we need to get rid of the Constitution?
He said we need to suspend all articles with and without the Constitution. I forget exact terminology, but it was a couple years ago, and it was right as he was supposed to leave and decided he didn't want to, and then tried everything he could, including suspending the Constitution on his own fucking Truth Social post.
So you believe that if Trump himself wanted to do something anti-democratic, like get rid of the Constitution, MAGA would be okay with that?
Oh, a lot of them, yes. Fucking Gen X would be, guaranteed.
For my Gen X, for my MAGA viewers, I mean, how many of you folks have followed President Trump if he wanted to suspend the Constitution? I don't know. I don't think MAGA's going to agree with that, Sherbert.
All he has to do is say, I'm going to give you a couple $1,000s a month, and I'm so cool, this is what we have to do. And they will just go clapping along, yeah, he said he'd do it.
Well, shit, if you're going to give people a couple $1,000 a month, I think you might get a few liberals on there, too.
Yeah, probably. There's some traders around.
A couple $1,000 a month? I mean, that's $24,000 a year.
Yes, but Tim, all he has to say is, look how cool I am. This is going to make it better with zero proof. And they will jump along like trained seals. And they've proven themselves over and over and over and fucking over again that that's the case. I
mean, I know there were some folks who would follow Trump anywhere in the beginning, but I mean, I thought kind of with Marjorie Taylor Greene, a lot of that had, jumped ship.
Not enough. Not in my eyes. I think things are going to go very poorly when he decides he's not done yet.
Yikes. Well, speaking of which, with Marjorie Taylor Greene resigning, some folks are suggesting that she's not going to be the only one, that there may be other resignations on the right before the midterms. Any chance you think that may take place?
I'm hoping so, but I don't have high hopes for it because I'm pretty sure Marjorie Taylor Greene is going to try and run for president in 28, and that's why she's separating herself out now.
How could she do that? Who would support her at this point? You don't have MAGA. You'll never get the liberals. I mean, maybe a few independents and traditional conservatives, but I mean, she would be way down there as a third-party candidate. No, I mean, I don't even think she could run as a Republican. She'd have to run as an independent, probably.
I mean, who really knows? We'll see how it's going, but she clearly jumped ship ahead of time when there is no defending trying to hide the Epstein files. And maybe her morals just said, I can't do this anymore. Cool, but she has been a cunning congressperson the entire time. She will do whatever it takes.
What about the possibility that she just was receiving death threats and got scared?
Well, man up, because the Democrats keep getting it all the time. The Libs of TikTok lady was proven that every time she posted about any particular location, they would get boom boom threats every single time, and nobody gave a fuck. And so now that she's actually getting those threats, she's all scared. Fuck you. Deal with the consequences of your party being such assholes for so long.
Yeah, and she was the one also leading to a lot of those threats by her own rhetoric against liberals. But let me say this, though. in defense of Marjorie Taylor Greene, unlike liberals that receive death threats, Marjorie Taylor Greene actually has to work around and affiliate with the people sending the death threats. So if you're a liberal getting death threats, yeah, you could be afraid, but you generally hang around liberals. You're getting it from the other side. Marjorie Taylor Greene, the threats are coming from in the House. So when you have to go to town halls and things like that, it could literally be one of these motherfuckers in here that is talking about, because it's your people. The people wearing the red hats are the ones that are threatening you, and these are the people that are you're expected to talk to every week. So is it possible that maybe she had a reason to be at a more heightened amount of fear, considering it's her own people threatening her?
Not really. Mostly because she's the one that helped whip everyone into a frenzy to not care about the rule of law. So you kind of reap what you sow on this one. And there's other people that get threatened by their own community all the time. She's not special for this. She's just complaining recently about it.
Well, how about this? Snowbird7 in the comments says liberals are the ones killing everybody. So
oh, shut the fuck up, Snowbird.
I'd like to know who the liberals are taking out, because you hear that all the time. Ooh. Yeah, I'm not.
If they say Charlie Kirk, I'm gonna fucking scream.
Well, I mean, they do believe that Charlie Kirk was a liberal hit job.
Yeah, and it was probably an Israeli hit job, but who fucking knows? And they're never gonna release it, especially when we can't even get the Epstein files.
You been watching Candace Owens lately?
No, but there's enough corresponding evidence that it's more likely than not.
You really think Israel would do something? I mean, Charlie Kirk, who's still... wait, hold on.
No.
I got to frame it.
They have the food trucks being taken out after they bring them in and get the swarm people in, and then they boom them. I'm not saying that Israel wouldn't do anything.
Okay, I'm not saying that Israel's not capable of it, but Charlie Kirk is far down in the weeds. I mean, a lot of people on the right knew him, but for the most part, he still was somewhat underground. I mean, would him making?
No.
You think he was enough to draw Israel's attention?
Yes, that's why they tried to give him like $6 million 2 weeks before he passed. What are you fucking talking about?
I haven't heard
just
this.
Because you didn't know him.
Damn right.
You didn't know him didn't mean he wasn't world fucking wide.
The Israelis tried to give Charlie Kirk $6 million?
At least, if it wasn't 10, to invest into Turning Point. And he said no, and then all of a sudden he's gone.
All right, maybe this is why I like to talk to you folks. I didn't know this shit. $6 million, huh? Wow. And we're talking about this transgender dude.
Which there is no evidence for.
So what is this? The Mossad got angry?
Probably.
All right, well, let's not talk about
the flight leaving 10 minutes after is pretty sketch.
Whoa. Flight leaving 10 now if you're listening in Israel, I will take the $6 million. Okay, so you said a flight leaving. What are you talking about? What flight?
There was a private plane that left 10 minutes later, 1 mile away. Maybe it was 30 minutes later. And I believe it flew right back to Israel. Private jet.
Well, Jesus.
No, I could be wrong about the info, but what I remember was that it was so incredibly crazy that you had to at least question it.
Well, I mean, not to say that they actually took a hit on the guy, but they could have certainly been there spying on what he had to say. I mean, they could have had an agent there spying on him, and after, he's gone, well, come on back home. Shit, ain't nothing else to spy on anymore. You say you seen, what did you see? Yeah, he probably ain't gonna survive that. Just come on back over to Tel Aviv. I mean, it could be that. That's possible.
I couldn't tell you, but I can also guarantee that none of your other callers here are going to be able to tell you for certain, because it's all locked away under levels of bureaucracy.
You mean the flight and everything?
Well, there's public records that they can't necessarily hide, but you'll never get true information out of them.
I had not heard of this. This is interesting. So you do believe is Tucker Carlson on the same? Because I know Candace Owens is talking about this. Is Tucker Carlson speaking in this way as well?
I don't know. That guy's a Russian shill. I really don't like Tucker Carlson, and anybody that does like Tucker Carlson, I don't want to be friends with. I don't want to associate with you.
Oh shit! They don't like you. All right,
Ah.
we'll leave it at this. The Israelis are watching. I gotta go.
Have a good night, Tim.
I love you, Netanyahu. Appreciate it, man. All right. Oh, wow, that was crazy. What did I just do here? Go ahead and drop Sherbert. I don't fuck with
Me
you.
the host?
Yeah, I didn't mean to do that. Hang on a second. They don't change the way the controls look. Anyway, wow, that is crazy. And I see Jeremy says Sherbert is an incompetent sociopath. How? What did he say? Kirk and Tucker to go max. They wanted to speak out against the. Maybe I've said that country's name too much because we just got a warning for that. I had to drop him. We don't want anybody to get banned. Looking in the comments, Nick Fuentes is this. He's that. Well, Trump said he didn't know who Nick Fuentes was. So you believe that? Had him in his house, had dinner with him, and said, I don't know who the guy is. Does anybody believe that? That somebody like Kanye West, of all people, could show up to Mar-a-Lago after Trump has been president? So, Trump don't already serve the whole term as president. So, his security is at a heightened state of alertness, just like showing up to Bush's or Obama's home. You don't just walk in there with anybody. And Kanye West, of all people, who Trump doesn't know that well, other than he's a well-known hip-hop star that happens to be African-American that likes him. You don't know Kanye West that much. So for Kanye West to show up with Nick Fuentes to his house, and they sit down and have dinner together, by way of yes or no in the comments, how many of you people believe that Trump did not know who Nick Fuentes was before he had dinner with him in his own home? Does there anybody that believe that? Anyway, looking in the comments, if Trump is speaking, he is lying, says PG. I gotta assume that he was lying about that. In fact, Trump has said that about a lot of folks. David Duke, he didn't know. I mean, who else he didn't know? Obviously, Nick Fuentes. I think he said that about Stormy Daniels. He didn't know her. He really reduced Michael Cohen down to some lawyer. I mean, he says, I don't know all the time. He if anything that comes up that's controversial, I don't know him. He'll just say, I don't know the person. The person he pardoned, yeah, that's another guy. The guy that was the founder of Binance or something like that, that is responsible for the largest financial transaction to the Trump family, $2 billion between Binance and I think one of Trump's kids or something like that. Trump said, I don't know who the guy is. And then he gave him a pardon. How could you pardon the guy you don't even know who he is? I mean, so he says that all the time. He didn't know Epstein that well. Yeah, he did say that one as well. And there's more pictures of President Trump and Epstein online than there are of Trump and Melania. I don't understand that. There are more pictures from that era, and Trump was with Melania back then. There's more pictures of Trump and Epstein together than there are of Trump and Melania. Okay, tap the screen, by the way. Get us on up to 20,000. We'll take the next caller. Same thing if you're watching on YouTube, feel free to smash that like button. It helps out with the algorithm of the program. And if you're watching us on Facebook and or Instagram, feel free to follow the program as well. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you folks. Going back to the box and back to the comments, he got Melania from Epstein. Damn, is that true? No. Epstein didn't give him Melania Trump. I seen Melania Trump she was on with the late Barbara Walters asked her, how did she meet President Trump? And she stated that Trump was on a yacht party with another girl. And she was on that yacht as well. And Trump snuck away from the girl he was with and asked for her phone number or something like that. Because she stated she was hesitant to give it to him or whatever, and he was persistent and she gave him her phone number. But she said she met Trump when he was on a date with another chick. I mean, she actually said that on with Barbara Walters. I think it was on 2020. Anyway, looking in the comments, the girl in Prince Andrew's case came from Florida, Trump's home. I bet he don't know her either. Well, didn't he have a falling out with Epstein because Epstein was taking one of the girls from his massage parlor at Mar-a-Lago or something like that, which is insane. I mean, you got some underage girls that give massages to, I guess, you and other people who you can replace a dime a dozen. I mean, this she's under 20. I mean, how much are you possibly paying her per hour to give a massage? I mean, okay, so Epstein takes her and you should hire another one. The fact that you're pissed off about that one girl, probably because she was providing some special services. Not to quote Liam Neeson, but a special set of skills. Anyway, going back to the box, Epstein still in minors. Let me go back to the box, tap the screen, get us up to 20,000. One and only Jeremy. Good evening, Jeremy. Long time no here, Jeremy. She was in a dating marriage club, mail order bride Melania. That sounds somewhat possible. I mean, she definitely has the look of a mail order bride. Jeremy, good evening.
How you doing, Tim? It's been a while.
Appreciate you coming back on. Appreciate having you here. So you hear about these guardsmen in D.C.?
Yeah, I just heard about it. Yeah.
Trump wants to send 500 more. What say you?
Yeah, why not?
Why so?
Well, because you don't fuck with our servicemen.
Are they more valued than police officers?
To a degree, yes.
Really? Based on what? Why would you give a National Guardsman higher value than a police officer?
Because they have a higher risk job.
National Guard? Are you kidding me?
You get deployed all the time. You don't know that?
Hell no. If you're a West Virginia National Guardsman, which is what these guys were, versus a DC Metro cop, you realize how much danger and risk DC local city cops deal with compared to there's no way in hell that's true.
No, they get deployed all the time. You don't know that?
They don't this guy has to work every fucking day as a cop for the next 30 years. They don't get deployed. They go to work every day.
Look, you can have your opinion. I'll have mine about.
You really think the National Guard is a more dangerous job than a city cop in a violent city like DC?
Why do you think they have more elite training?
When you look at how many National Guardsmen every year are killed in the line of duty compared to city cops, it's not even close, Jeremy. It's not even remotely close. We lose way more city cops. Huh?
That's a matter of proximity and staying in the area where you're going to be policing all the time. It's not due to like the actual immediate danger. You got to understand there's a difference between facing off against trained terrorists versus facing off against some asshole who stole a bike or something like that and worked and was a part of a gang.
Yeah, I think you're confusing National Guardsmen with folks that are actually in the military. You don't normally have.
National Guard is the military. Okay?
No, but it's a difference though.
Army. They're controlled by the army.
No. What I'm saying is it's a difference. Other than the Iraq War, in most cases, the National Guard do not end up in the Middle East somewhere fighting terrorists. That don't normally happen. That's something that is
the reserve units. The reserve units that get deployed all the time.
I haven't heard this. So you're telling me if you join the National Guard, there's a really good chance you're going to the Middle East?
There is a chance. It's just that you won't be deployed as much as the regular army.
I don't think this is even remotely close. I think, in fact, when George W. Bush didn't Cal, appreciate and you probably be this person to speak to on this. I need to get somebody military on here because I don't think what you're saying is true, Jeremy, but I'm not military. So I'm going to be dependent on someone it is. We'll get on the program soon. But I think when George W. Bush deployed the National Guard to Iraq, that was unusual. That ain't something that happens in most conflicts. So I think when you're saying the National Guard is a more dangerous job than the local city cops roaming, the streets of Los Angeles or Chicago or DC, I don't think that is true in the least.
Well, you can have your opinion. I'll have mine about that. But it's one thing's for sure. I don't have a problem with us deploying more people there. I don't have a problem with that.
So, okay, fair enough. So then I'm going to ask you, like what I was mentioning before during the monologue, when cops get shot, why don't we blow up the number of cops? I mean, cops get killed in the line of duty all the time, way more so than National Guard. And you don't see the mayor or the governor say, well, we're going to put 500 more National Guard in Birmingham since a cop got shot yesterday. And by the way, these guys didn't even pass away, and the suspect is in custody. So why do you need to send extra National Guard for something that has been is pretty much been solved? The two people who got shot, they're not dead yet, and of course the guy who did it is in custody. So why do you need more guard?
Well, here's the thing. So Tim, in some cases you should, it depends on how many cops are getting shot. You should have more cops sometimes. There is a time where you can say, okay, clearly we're having too many cops get slaughtered on the street. We need more of them to buff up our numbers and put down the criminals harder.
Okay.
So it depends. Now, when it comes to the National Guard, someone who's willing to take a guardsman is probably not someone who wants to live very long.
True. Well, I mean, the same with a cop. I mean, you take on any of these entities. I mean, the National Guard, you take on the police, take on the feds. Any of these folks have unlimited backup.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, okay, so what was the point of putting the Guard there in the first place? The point of it was that DC should be one of our most secure cities ever. The capital city of the United States of America should be one of the safest places. You should be able to take a piss out there in the middle of the street, and the only thing that happens to you is you get arrested for public indecency. You shouldn't be.
I'm fine with suggesting that DC needs to be safe, but I don't think the National Guard, who by the way is not even trained in civilian encounters like this, if you want to make that city safe, then you blow up the DC Metro Police. FBI's there, you got the Capitol Police. Them are the folks who are trained to deal with actual citizens, where you should have blew it. The National Guard, I mean, they're driving Humvees and shit like that. I mean, you don't use a Humvee in normal interaction with civilians.
Yeah, but this is a normal city. This is DC. This is our capital.
Okay.
You should not. You should feel more afraid to commit a crime in the capital of the United States of America than anywhere else.
I don't know what other country on earth that operates like that. I mean, a crime is a crime. I mean, the government's a government. A law is a law. I mean, you commit a crime in DC versus committing a crime in Portland. You break the law, you're going to pay for it. Otherwise, if what you're saying is true, then the people in every other American city would be like, why are you treating DC better than our towns? You're making it sound like you want DC to be safe, but you don't give a damn about, Jackson, Mississippi or something like that.
That's a ridiculous statement, okay? There's a difference between saying you want some place to be more secure than everywhere else versus saying you don't want any security everywhere else.
I didn't say none. I'm simply saying if I live in another American city other than DC, I'm going to ask the question of, because it's my federal tax dollars that's protecting DC. Why the hell would I want my money to make your city safer than the one I actually live in?
I'm not saying you shouldn't be safe in any one city. What I am saying is this. Some places are more important than others.
How?
Some people are more important than others because the people who live in DC are on a national level of government importance. Like, no one's going to look at someone and say, like someone who says we should have plenty of security at the White House as a crazy person. No one's going to look at them and say that, or say that there should be more security for the president of the United States than there should be for the governor of even California, one of the most populated states in the United States. No one's going to say that's crazy. And why? Well, because we know why. It's because the president is more important.
Further Grade in the comments immediately said that's crazy. So there you go. Somebody already said that's crazy.
It's okay. It's okay. Let that retard talk as much as he wants.
I'm just going to say, I think that in a country where we're supposed to be a republic or a democracy, every city should be treated equal. You shouldn't be treating one city like it should be more secure than other towns. I mean, every American should feel like they're just as valuable as every other American. I don't want residents of DC to feel like they're more secure than residents of New York.
Here's the thing. I actually disagree. I think every American should feel equal under the law, and they should feel equally not only protected by the law, but they should also feel equally, this is key, equally responsible to the law. So meaning that if you commit a crime, regardless of how high up you are, you can get the smoke. You know what I mean? Which is why if President Trump commits a real crime, like not the trumped up charges that he had with New York, but like an actual crime, like he touched,
like murdering innocent Venezuelans.
Again, I'll have to look into that because I haven't made up my mind on those boats yet. But yeah.
Yeah, and I understand that that you haven't made up your mind because we can't prove that he's committing acts of murder. The problem is we can't prove that he's taking out drug dealers either. That's the problem. We don't know what the hell he's doing. And when you got countries like the UK stating that they believe what he's doing violates international law, that speaks volumes. I mean, the other countries that are our allies don't even believe what he's doing is accurate, and they have inside intelligence.
I'm not saying that their opinion is useless, but it is very suspicious because there's a left-wing government in power in the UK already, and so you kind of got to ask, like, would you guys say this if this was Obama?
I don't, I get your reasoning on it, but since Trump came along, it's always been that only Republicans can judge me fairly. If it's a liberal judge, I'm gonna bring it up. Anytime a Republican judge rules in his favor, he don't say, "Well, this is a biased judge that's on my side." It's only when liberals rule against him that all of a sudden every judge is appointed by somebody left or right. I mean, that's how the system works. He's making it sound like that if you're a liberal judge and you rule against him, it cannot be done for any other reason other than bias. He's really undermining our judicial system doing that.
Oh yeah, no, trust me. That's one of the reasons why I'm not a Trump supporter anymore. Because nowadays, I'll congratulate him when he does something I think is right. I think we do need more guardsmen in D.C., and I also think that that ICE should be deporting people. But I don't. But I haven't made up my mind on Venezuela, and I don't support him for being a total hypocrite when it comes to the rulings by these judges. Yeah, so. I think that's a very freeing thing, is never having to bind yourself to one person, one imperfect person.
Well, speaking of binding yourself to one person, before I'm moving on from you, there are rumors floating around, mainly coming from the left, that are suggesting that there's going to be other congressmen or congresswomen that resign, like Marjorie Taylor Greene did before the midterms. Now, I know it's mostly liberals saying this. Do you think there's any chance of that happening?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I will say this. I wanted to bring this up to you, Tim,
sure,
before I go. So a lot of what I heard Sherber talking about kind of really tells me a lot about the left. When he was talking,
he's one guy. You do realize he's one guy. Don't let one individual make you judge the whole party. But go ahead. What do you got?
Yeah, don't worry. There's actually a really good video you should look up by a girl named Aiden Paladin. She's a statistician and a psychologist,
okay,
who did a good video showing that this whole idea that the right is more violent than the left is actually bullshit. The left actually has just as much, if not more, violent attacks that they've committed. They're just incompetent, and they just fail at it. They've been stopped more often. And having a worldview of I love the world and I care about the world is actually more associated with sociopathy, which is why I'm not too surprised that Sherber, when he heard about those two guardsmen getting shot, said, it's what you deserve.
Well, he didn't say they deserved that.
Yeah, well, no, he was pretty unempathetic about it. He was pretty sociopathic about it. And he also, and same thing with the threats to Marjorie Taylor Greene and saying it's what you get for what you say. Here's the thing: I would say people like Melissa Hortman don't deserve any more threats than Greene does, and I don't think either one of them do.
Well, I'm going to tell you, your side was pretty awful when Nancy Pelosi's husband, somebody tried to take his life. Your side was horrible with that, including President Trump himself. I'll tell you this. You can say what you want about the left making fun of Charlie Kirk. You didn't hear Obama or Biden do it. I mean, President Trump himself. Huh?
I was actually very proud of Obama. I'm like, you know what? You're my president, man. That was great. Thank you for that.
Yeah, but the problem is President Trump himself made fun of Nancy Pelosi's husband. That's horrible.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. Trump is a bit of an egotist. Well, what am I saying? A bit of? That's an understatement. He's an egotistical maniac.
Well, what do you call folks who made fun of what happened to Charlie Kirk?
Psychopaths.
Well, he should be called a psychopath, not an egotistical maniac, because he's doing the same damn thing.
You know what? Let's give him that. I'll give him psychopath if you want.
All right.
Like I said, I don't support him anymore, so I don't feel bad at all. But yeah, do me a favor, write this down if you got the chance to. Her name is Aiden Paladin. It's Aydin.
Aydin. Okay.
Yep.
Is she a right winger?
She is. So obviously,
well, of course, she's not going to say her side is violent. But what is her last name? Powell.
Paladin.
Okay.
Just look up her latest video. she gives a lot of sources that are actually academic sources that actually show brainwave, even brain scans, and have all sorts of evidence.
She didn't get her information from PragerU by chance, did she?
Nope, actually, she got it from several different universities, and she also looked at global terrorism statistics that show that there are more left-wing attempted attacks than there are right-wing attempted attacks, but there are more thwarted left-wing attempted attacks, and the right just is more competent at actually doing terror attacks than the left.
Well, the first thing I want to find out too is what
she shows all her sources too.
Yeah,
so
first thing I want to find out too is when they say attempted attacks and violence, what are they chalking up? Like for instance, BLM getting pissed off with cops in doing something violent. If they're throwing it, because that ain't got nothing to do with politics. That's got something to do with people being angry with cops. So I would have to see what they factor in as violence, because that ain't political. The people that are doing that in BLM, they don't vote. They're mad that the cops fuck with them. But a lot of folks say that BLM are left wingers. These people ain't voting at all. Some of them are juveniles. Many of them are felons. They can't vote, and they're calling out all of BLM liberals. So I'd have to really see where she is going. Just like with the guy who took out Charlie Kirk, they're saying he's a liberal because his girlfriend or whatever was trans. That's it. Just because you date a trans person don't make you a Democrat. I don't have any evidence whatsoever that this guy voted Democrat his entire life. But they're calling him a liberal. So I'd have to see in detail what she is referring to as liberal violence, because it may be a whole bunch of people that ain't never voted in their lives, but because they lean left, put the mindset on something, they're attributing them to being liberals.
Well, that's a great thing. She gives all the sources, so you can always look at the methodology and be like, "Oh, what exactly do they count as this? What do they count as that?" This is all public information that she uses. And that's what I really love about her is that you can really depend on her to make sure you know exactly what you're getting.
All right, Jeremy, appreciate you coming through.
You around?
Thank you. All right, moving on with the program. They don't fuck with TikTok for some reason, so.
I'll get off.
Yeah, they don't change something on here. So when I get ready to drop guests, they don't move something different. There we go. Okay, in the comments, Johnny, you say that I think one of my viewers, Johnny, said that the guy who tried to take out Charlie Kirk donated money to the left. Here's the problem: how many 22-year-olds donate to political campaigns? That I don't know about that. I'd have to see some solid evidence. This guy, Tyler Robinson, you said he donated to the left. How many 22-year-olds make political contributions? Did he even work? That's hard to believe. A 22-year-old made a political contribution. So I'd have to see more of it. But like I said also, too, did he donate to the Democratic Party or did he donate to some trans organization? Because the people on the right believe that if you're sympathetic to the trans, that makes you left. And that's because what they're often saying, which is we don't have a problem with the transgender community. They know it's not true. So they're saying, well, anybody that's favorable to the trans community, they have to be left because we're not favorable to them, even though they're telling you we don't have a problem with them at all. Tap the screen, get us up to 35. We'll take the next caller. These shootings tonight sound fishy too. You're saying the National Guard, I don't know why that's killing them, but you're saying the National Guard's cases are sounding fishy already? Now, I'm hearing that this individual took up a position and started engaging with that's just a suicide mission, is it not? To go at the National Guard. I mean, they got long rifles and everything. You're going to lose that many times over. In D.C., by the way. I mean, in what is the most heavily guarded city, even without the National Guard. That's just a suicide mission. That is left, Tim. You're in contradiction or just honest or just dishonest, Draco. Explain why it's left, Draco. Because like I said, if you simply date someone transgender and you view that means you lean left, then there has to be a reason why that is. And the reason is obvious. The right hates the transgender community. So the only way you're going to be favorable to trans, you got to be left. But they're lying and saying they don't hate the transgender community. So if you don't have a problem with the trans community, then tell me how being with trans makes a person left. If you're okay with them, they could be right as well. Something you're saying doesn't add up. Because of Trump, two guardsmen died at the Capitol. Let's pay for their family. I'm not getting that, Deborah. In fact, I got News Nation on right in front of me, and their ticker says 2 National Guardsmen in critical condition. So I'm not seeing anything about loss of life. So I think you might be calling it a bit early. That's not to say it may not end up being that way, but yeah, I'm going to make sure my feed is live, and it is. Yeah, they're not saying that the National Guardsmen perished, so you may be ahead for that. Sassy says, I pray for their families. Trump won't. Well, I'm sure Trump will say thoughts and prayers. We'll see. Anyway, tap the screen, get us up to 30,000. We'll take the next caller. Looking in the comments here. By the way, let me make sure I make the program right. What does it say here? Oh, I missed the update. I haven't seen that update. I'm looking, like I said, I'm looking right now on the screen at News Nation, and it says Trump directs. Now it says Trump directs 500 troops to Washington, D.C. Do you think this could have been stopped? If Trump sends 500 more troops to D.C., do you think that extra 500 people would be enough to prevent what happened today from happening? I don't know. To me, what this guy did amounts to a suicide mission. I just don't see 2 people getting hit. I mean, you can do that so quickly with a semi-auto. I don't see any way, shape, or form how this stops something like that from happening again. And as I stated earlier, cops lose their lives in the line of duty every day. We don't beef up the police force by 500 officers if a cop gets killed. And I'm talking about killed. These guys are critically wounded, but they're alive still. And the guy has been taken into custody. So it's not like there's a manhunt or anything. What are the additional 500 troops being deployed for? I don't get that. See the comments. Captain Cowboy says Jeremy needs to go to church. Oh, my God. They will blame the 6 Democrat senators. Ooh. Now, we know somebody's going to get blamed for it on the left, because that's just the way our political environment is. But you think the Republicans will try to blame those who stated you don't have to follow illegal orders for what happened in D.C.? That's a stretch, because what they said wasn't promoting violence. What they said was, if you really want to stretch it, you can say they were promoting dissent in the military. They weren't even addressing the general public. This guy got shot by a citizen, apparently. So I don't know how you could blame them. A cop shot me because I said good morning to him. User, I need to hear more on that. I know there's some bad cops out here, but you said good morning to a cop and he tried to shoot you. Did you say good morning while aiming an AR at him or something? That's a bit much. I don't know. Listen, there's a lot of bad cops out here, but I don't know about that freaking bad. Let me go back to the box. Tap the screen, get us up to 30,000. We'll go straight to the one and only Denkel. Now, Denkel's military. You're the guy I need after Jeremy. I got a bad taste in my mouth. You got to clean my palate on this. Now, you heard what Jeremy said. Am I correct?
I did, and I turned away from it because I was trying to verify in the news whether the 2 men were deceased or not, and they are not as of yet.
Yeah.
The problem with that was that everybody is so in a rush to get the first
Right.
comment, first take on it, that the governor of West Virginia,
He's the one that released that statement.
right?
Yeah.
Because everybody's in a rush to be like, look, I know what's going on. Just like Trump jumps up there and, every problem is a nail looking for a hammer. He gonna deploy 500 more troops to where? Downtown D.C.? That's not where the crime is at. The crime is in the inner cities.
Yeah.
Just because you send 500 troops are not there. They're not trained on local police, law enforcement, and they're not trained in civic engagement, like dealing with the public.
How about this though?
I did want to answer your question real quick. I know you was going to ask me.
We got plenty of time to talk about that. Real quick before you answer, and I do want to hear your answer. Paul in the comments, how about folks like this that try to hold individuals that spoke like you did accountable. He says, imagine not wanting safe, clean cities. So when you protest the National Guard and he beefing up of the law enforcement, he says, imagine somebody not wanting safe, clean cities. What say you?
What the problem with that is what he's doing is not cleaning up cities. It may be promoting crime to go in a certain direction or move to various other places, but crime doesn't stop because you put Humvees on the ground.
Yeah.
People just go underground and they just start doing their shit somewhere else. You're not protecting anybody. You're just moving the crime somewhere else. If you wanted to defeat crime, you should be talking about root causes of the crime. Why is there crime there in the first place? And a lot of it, not all of it, but some of it comes from poverty. Some of it does come from cultural things that have happened along the way. But that
mental illness too, which they're cutting programs that would help mental illness causes a lot of this stuff too.
Right. Improve the education system.
Yeah.
Make sure there's more opportunity for people. You can't just take away all of the opportunity and say pull yourself up by the bootstraps when you have no bootstraps. You're gonna go find somebody else with some bootstraps and get theirs.
Yeah, I've said that on many of the programs when Trump started deploying the National Guard is that crime happens for a reason. And if you do not address the reasons crime happens and you just threaten everybody with incarceration, that only works while you're threatening people. I mean, so in other words, what are you going to lead the National Guard deployed indefinitely? Because, I mean, you didn't address why the crime was being committed to begin with.
Right. If that's the case, then instead of putting all of that money into the military budget, maybe they should have took some of that money and put it into state and local government so they can hire more detectives, so they can have after-school programs, so they can do some beautification of some parks and recreation, give some kids some summer jobs to get them off the street, improve the schools, pay the teachers more. There's many ways you can lower crime. You'll never be able to get rid of it totally.
Yeah.
But yes, if somebody stands by the door of a bank, with a loaded machine gun, the chances of it getting, hit is slim to none. But you can't do that to every bank. So how do you actually reduce crime? You got to go to root causes. And if you never address the root causes, I don't care if you put 50,000 troops in a city. It doesn't get rid of poverty, and therefore it doesn't get rid of crime.
Well, let me ask you this, and I do want to tackle that military question, but Diamond in the comments says those two National Guards should never have been there in the first place. Do you agree with that they should never have been there to begin with?
Yes, wholeheartedly.
So are you also among the crowd that might suggest since they are somewhere they don't belong at the president's hands, therefore their blood is on his hands? Do you see their shooting as blood on the hands of the president?
Yes. Yes, unequivocal. Yes. He put those people in a position that they had no business being in. National Guard has no business doing civil law enforcement. They're not trained for it. I don't care about the 2 weeks of training they gave them before they deployed. They do not belong in an urban setting. So it was only a matter of time before this happened. And I don't wish nothing bad on anybody. But when you put people in these positions, in this hyper political situation, and we got mental illness rampant around the country, just like you were saying, like, I don't care. Look, if these people are crazy enough to go on what are suicide missions,
right? They
wasn't thinking in their head, well, it's only 2,000 of them here, I'm gonna go ahead and do something. But if there was 500 more, I wouldn't. No, they just say it was more targets for me to get. And as long as I get them before they get me, that's how psychopaths think. So I don't get the rationale. It makes them sound like he's more powerful and he's making people more safer. Obviously, it wasn't safe because he got thousands of them there now, and they still getting killed.
Ramping up the amount of National Guard would not have stopped this guy. I mean, because listen, you take out National Guardsmen, There's also ATF, DEA, the FBI's there, the DC Metro, the Capitol. I mean, there's enough cops to deal with your ass if you decide to take out a couple National Guardsmen. So an additional 500 additional guardsmen, it means nothing to you as the individual that done something stupid like this. It ain't like you could get away with this if there was only 500 less National Guardsmen in that area. You're not going to get away with what happened there. There's enough people there to return a volley of shots, which is what happened to this guy, and he got shot anyway. So why do you think he's sending 500 guardsmen in there then? 500 more?
Well, I think it was from what one of your earlier people said that I heard a clip of, was that he's sending more because he wants to have more of a control of the city come from midterms. And this is a perfect opportunity to add more into the place where all of the counting goes when they have those national elections. I could be wrong, but this is a perfect opportunity for him to ramp stuff up.
I really hope
we've seen nothing. We've seen nothing in all of these weeks. People have just stopped paying attention since he put these people all over the place. Crime is not gone away in California or Nashville or wherever the hell he's sending people. It's not going away. This is all a mirage. It's to get us used to being inundated with our military in the streets. Because it's not accomplishing anything. Nobody's not dying because they send 2,000 troops downtown.
Well, wait a minute. He has said the murder rate has went down substantially. And I mean, he claims you can walk the streets in DC and go out to dinner with your friends.
Right. He claims it, but guess what happened today?
What? Well,
just because you claim some shit is happening with no proof, because guess what? He disbanded the FBI section that used to count state and local crimes. He disbanded that part of the FBI. So we don't even know. So you don't know if you can trust the numbers they're releasing anyway. Draco says... I know people in those some of the states where they at, and they saying, like, the people that are in the neighborhoods that live in those communities, they saying, no, people still smoking dope, people still getting shot, people still happening. Yeah, I know, being from Chicago myself, that city is huge. You would have to send thousands of National Guards to Chicago to make, because every little block may have crime on it. Tens of thousands. Yeah, it would have to be a huge deployment. Yeah, there's already tens of thousands of police in Chicago. You would have to send hundreds of thousands of military to control a city with, approximately 3 million people, not including all of the suburban areas around it. Like, it's just impossible. And if it was possible, somebody would have did it by now. Yeah. How about this? Draco in the comments says, so the National Guard, based on the conversation we're having, he says, so the National Guard should not have been in Louisiana after Hurricane Katrina with that donkey logic. So he's saying that based on what you're saying about the Guard should not be in D.C., then that would also mean that they should not have been in Louisiana after Hurricane Katrina. What say you? I'm gonna let you answer it. I already get. How you hold a straight face saying something so stupid? Because he's making an analogy between going in and protecting life and property during a natural disaster, and then sending people into the inner city to control local crime. It's not even apples and oranges. That's like fruits and vegetables. Draco's a friend of the program, so I have to read the comments with respect. Okay, listen. My answer is simple. You're right. There was a one-off, a major national disaster during Katrina that the local city and state government could not handle, and I do believe what's going on in D.C. could easily be handled by the Metro Police. All they have to do is blow up the Metro. If you don't think that they're handling crime properly, just put a few more cops on the beat. You don't need the National Guard from other states in D.C. So I don't compare what happened in Hurricane Katrina, by the way, Jesus, to anything. I mean, when they don't have vehicles and shit, the whole town's flooded out. Yeah, it's not even in the same realm. But I had to read his comment. He says we're donkey brains. He's talking about it was to protect life and property. So I guess he's saying that the
National Guard in DC is currently protecting life and property. So are they even making arrests? Are the National Guard even allowed to make arrests in DC?
They do not have arrest power. No.
Yeah, so they're not protecting National Guard. All they're doing is kind of like a figurehead, some intimidation so you can see them. But they're not even arresting people. So I don't get where he's going. But
right.
I had to read his
It's like a deterrent.
Yeah.
But it's only a temporary deterrent.
Not only that, but it's not in every
all over the country.
Yeah, not only that, but it's not even in every neighborhood. So the neighborhoods with the most amount of crime in it, the National Guard ain't even in those areas.
Exactly. That's the whole problem with this. They putting them there so people can see them. It's a visual thing when the people get up on TV and say, yeah, now DC is safe. People all of a sudden start pulling out their bicycles and their strollers and they're walking around. They've always did that in Washington, DC. Always.
All right, now let's get down to the actual topic that me and Jeremy was talking about, where he stated that the National Guard's job is actually more dangerous than a local city cop in a town like DC.
That's another one of those silly questions that he doesn't even know what it is. He just assumes it because he hears. I don't know if he heard National Guard and figured it was something. I'm not down in what they do, but their original task was to take over positions around the country when the soldiers had to go off to war. Mm-hmm. Just like you said earlier, it was unusual that during the Gulf War and all of that, defending, freedom and all that stuff, that they started sending, because we didn't have enough troops to rotate. We was in Afghanistan, we was in Iraq, we was all over the damn place. So yes, they rotated those people who were normally set to take over positions in the States for the people who had to go out and fight. But once they rotated, there was nobody else. So they started rotating the National Guard out there to do those jobs.
Yeah.
You have to remember, National Guardsmen trained 2 weekends a month, that kind of shit. Like they had to send a whole bunch of them home because a bunch of them was fat. Because people started seeing those National Guardsmen get dropped off in the city, and you got to remember, these people have regular jobs. These are regular doctors and nurses and teachers and stuff who just joined the Guard, or got out of active duty and who are in the reserves. They never planned on going, from West Virginia over there. I know if I was them people's family, those Guardsmen family, I would be pissed about Trump and all of that. Well, they were defending their country against tyranny and all that stuff. That's bullshit. They should have never been in Washington, D.C., especially not out of West Virginia.
Yeah. And in the comments, I do see Alter Ego says in war, yes, but on a regular basis, no. Yeah, it's not uncommon for somebody to do a whole career in the National Guard and never be in a war zone. That's not what they do. I mean, they don't go. That's why I was pushing back with my caller, Jeremy, when he said their job is more dangerous. They don't, because he's talking about where they're dealing with terrorists and that's dangerous. Like, they don't do that. Most of them barely leave stateside. They don't go to war zones.
When is the last time we deployed the National Guard? That's not what they do. Just like you said, it was an extraordinary situation when we seen them do it for the Gulf War and the defending, the global war on terror, which is what it was. Yes, that was different. They were deploying. They were even taking people out of the Navy and sending them to training and sending them over there to fight in the infantry.
Yeah. Like I said, I think he was confusing the National Guard with the regular military, the regular army and stuff like that, where they do get deployed in wars. I mean, if you join the regular military, it's highly likely during your time you're gonna be sent somewhere that's dangerous. But the National Guard, you may be in the United States the whole damn time. So I think he was confusing those.
Yeah, he doesn't.
How about this though? Yeah, how about this? He's never served just like I haven't, but I mean, he's a younger guy. How about this? Big Boss in the comments says, who cares? Crime needs to get toned down by any means necessary. So send the National Guard in. Somebody needs to do something.
Tone it down. That's what we doing. We toning down crime.
Yeah.
Toning it down. and we're gonna use our military. Just like we're using our military over there in Venezuela. We got a whole fucking battle group over there for Venezuela when we could probably defeat them with a couple of yachts off of Miami.
That's overkill, my God. Yeah, what we're doing
they're flying B-2 bombers and shit over there.
What I don't get is we always hear anytime you're talking about a social program or something, the common phrase is who's going to pay for it. The amount of money we've sent to send that armada down to the Caribbean. Think about the billions of dollars to send aircraft carriers and shit like that and all of them personnel down there. Just one B-2 flight could probably feed you for most of your adult life. I don't understand it. I do not understand the same who's going to pay for it crowd is totally in favor of this shit. Even the missiles. We're blowing up boats that are worth a fraction of the price of the missile they're using to do it.
And people don't even think about all of the extra, the peripheral stuff. Like we have to move satellites and shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? For the boats, we got submarines underneath the water. People just thinking on the surface level. They say, oh, the biggest aircraft carrier. There's a whole battle fleet, a whole supply fleet that must be out there to supply them with food, gas, everything. This is billions of dollars. When the dude done already said, I give up, I'll give you anything you want. They don't want what he wants to give. They want his damn oil, and they want to turn it over to the oil producers in America.
But at this point, the only way to make it worthwhile financially is to take their resources. Otherwise, it is a huge loss. Like I said, you're blowing up what amounts to drug runners. You're not exactly blowing up, the lieutenants or the upper level management in these drug, even if these people are running drugs. And by the way, we don't even have any proof that the people he's killing are part of a drug organization. But even if they are, these are low level runners. You're spending, I'm assuming each one of them missiles probably costs at least $50,000 more to take these people out.
A lot more than that. But
that's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. Like the amount of the munitions in the operations itself costs more than the boat and everything was on it.
So before I let you go, do you think there's ever going to be any cases, in regards to this? Maybe somebody being held accountable?
Held accountable, I don't know. I know that after Trump is gone, there are going to be commissions and all of that stuff. It's going to be a lot of things in place, and hopefully they'll put things in place to prevent it from happening again. But I'm just not too, I'm not too keen on accountability in our country anymore. And I've seen it from, both sides. Like, people are like, there's just not ever going to be accountability for the people that make the rules. And that's
well, speaking of accountability, what do you think are the chances that Senator Kelly will be called back to active duty so they can court-martial?
I'll never say never, but this should be an easy point to make, that bringing people under criminal investigation takes shadow of a doubt, beyond a shadow of a reasonable doubt, beyond a reasonable doubt, to get a man to come in and talk to him and say, what did you mean when you say don't follow unlawful orders? And him say, I meant for them to disregard lawful orders from the president. Like, that's never going to happen. Yeah. So therefore, this is all a dog and pony show just to try to, make people see, just imagine Pete Hegseth, which he was in the National Guard or the reserves or something like that, wasn't that very high ranking, is going to take somebody who has did thousands of sortie missions throughout multiple conflicts or wars. He's fucking a real life astronaut. His wife took a bullet in the head for political violence. Is going to get recalled that Pete, what they call him, Hegseth?
Pete Hennessy. I don't want to say that. I don't think Pete Hegseth would be drinking Hennessy to begin with, but I got to move it on, Decal. Leave Pete Hegseth alone.
Last quick thing.
Sure.
When you guys were talking about Trump, is he going to heaven or whatever? he got up there and said himself he don't think he's going to heaven. So I don't think we need to be debating. If a man can get up there in front of the world and say, I don't think I've ever asked for forgiveness from God. And every Christian knows in order to go to heaven, you have to be repentant. And if the man that they worship says, I don't repent, I just try to do better next time. That's the guy. That's their guy.
He did say himself.
Selling Bibles.
Yeah, he did say himself that he don't think he's getting heaven. Then Cal, as always, thank you.
Yep.
Appreciate it. All right, moving on with the program. I think I found out how to disconnect now. Nothing Trump doesn't like fishermen from Venezuela fishing. So you said Trump is blowing them up because they're fishermen. Why do 6 politicians need a PSA to military? I don't know if it's that they needed Draco, but the point is they have a right to do it. Free speech is, they are entitled to do it. Whether they need to do it or not, that's a different conversation, but they can do that. And that's what they ended up doing. So you would have to be an idiot not to understand what the 6 were trying to accomplish. Would have to be an absolute idiot. Well, the problem is, though, even if I don't know what you think they were trying to accomplish, but let's say you're right, whatever that may be, that's not how the courts work, though. You got to have proof. You can't have what you believe is, you're obviously speculating, but coincidence or something like that. That's not how the courts work. They could say the same thing about January 6th. You'd have to be an idiot not to know what they were trying to accomplish on January 6th. Well, the courts don't work that way. You need proof. And there is no proof what they were doing was intended to tell military personnel not to listen to Trump. You got to prove it. Even if it looks possible, you can't just go with that. It's got to be proven. Looking in the comments, imagine the Republicans getting 6 senators to do the same thing when Biden was in office. They would be all in jail. No, I don't think they would be in jail. I think the Democrats would be upset and just as argumentative. In fact, during the Obama administration, when Obama was being critical of Netanyahu, of the Israelis for settling on Palestinian land, the Republicans, if I'm correct, somebody let me know in the comments, but I believe the Republicans in Congress went around Obama and they went to Israel on their own. So you got the Republican Congress in Israel speaking on behalf of the U.S. government when we have an actual president, and they're going around him. I believe that happened. The Democrats didn't like it, but I believe that happened. Nobody got court-martialed or whatever. Nobody was held up for charges or whatever. That would be like right now having the Democrats in Congress, while President Trump is obviously siding with Netanyahu or obviously siding with Putin, and having Democrat Congress go over and meet with Hamas. That wouldn't be tolerated. President Obama was critical of Netanyahu. The Republicans wanted to show Netanyahu, no, well, we got your back, and they wouldn't met with him. And they didn't get any approval from the president at all. So when you say that these 6 people on TV are defying the president, well, it's happened before. You just were okay with it then, and you're not okay with it now. They said not to follow illegal orders. It's just reinforcement of what is. Here's the problem, though. If they go on TV and say you are not to follow illegal orders and you have a duty not to do so, and then they're brought before the courts or somebody tries to court-martial them, and they show up with the military pamphlet or whatever the hell it may be, and it says it in there, well, I was just reading this. How is me reading it aloud on TV an issue, but you're actually handing it out in writing to the actual soldiers? To me, this has case dismissed written all over it. I don't see how it goes any further than that. If what they're saying is somehow promoting the soldiers not to follow the law, then so is the book. So is what they're reading it from. All they're doing is repeating it. I don't see how that goes anywhere. I know Trump is not happy they did it, but if the soldiers are being told that anyway, then all they're doing is saying it over. It's just redundant. Anybody who ever been in the military knows that you do not follow you do not follow unlawful orders. Yeah, that's the point I'm making. So having somebody go on TV and tell you that, it is what it is. Now, what they obviously were doing, and tap the screen, get us up to 50,000. We'll take the next caller. But what they obviously were doing was reminding the people in the military, like, you might actually be given unlawful orders under this guy. Just remember, you don't have to follow him. So obviously it's a dig at President Trump, but it's a legal one. If Trump is giving unlawful orders, then you don't have to follow him. That's what this obviously was a dig at President Trump to tell the military, look, if you questioning whether or not he's telling you something is illegal, remember, you don't have to follow illegal orders. I get it. This guy is blowing up boats or whatever happened in Iran or any of these other missions. You don't have to follow these. Or as some people even point out, during the Nuremberg trials, I was following orders did not save people from being prosecuted. So understand you don't have to follow it if you think it's illegal. I don't know, maybe we have a Friday movie night on ABC. Perhaps they show A Few Good Men or some of those other movies show what happened to people who followed unlawful orders. Anyway, does the average military know what's legal? No, they don't. But I believe you can conscientiously object stuff too. I mean, like, look, if they tell you to go into a village and blow up a bunch of kids, I don't know. Like I said, at the end of the day, I was following orders. If it turns out it's a crime, I was following orders. Ain't gonna work. Let me go back to the box. We'll go to one of my subs, Facts Only. Good evening, Facts Only. Some things can be considered war crimes, and that is true. That is true. Facts Only was not there. We'll go ahead and continue on with MAGA Reacts. Good evening, MAGA Reacts. Good evening.
You always bring me up at the worst time.
Huh?
You always bring me up at the worst time.
You want me to drop you and get you next?
Yes, please.
All
I'm
right.
still grilling some steak. I got a fire in front of me.
All right, going on with the program here. Gangsta Grandma, always nice to me. It's a holiday.
Oh, shut up. I'm never nice to your ugly, fat ass. I'll be nice tonight.
Why do you body shame so much? Why do you body shame so much?
Shut up with your porcupine looking ass. But, you know, I have to show you a little bit of love because it's tomorrow, you know. It is a holiday. Is
Thank
your
you.
ugly ass cooking?
No, I'm not.
You're not cooking?
No.
Damn.
Why, you got something I can eat?
Yeah. Well, yeah, but you don't like chocolate. You like that ugly, uncooked protein. But anyways, let me tell you something. Let me tell you, I'm so high right now. I'm going to try to be mean, but, you know, I am the black modern day Brady Bunch. Yep. I'm the black modern day Brady Bunch.
What the hell does that mean?
I got 9 kids now. I got my 5 grandbabies I always take care of because of, you know, my babies are in college. And then I just got custody of my god babies because of what their mother's going through. She's not going to make it to Christmas. So, yes, I'm the modern day Brady Bunch. Yes.
Wow. Okay.
The black version, not the uncooked version. You know what I mean?
Okay. So did you hear about getting to the actual topic? And I see your comment, Jermaine, said Trump wants to sell the F-35 to Saudi
Drip
Arabia.
again, Tim. Damn.
Hold on.
It was dripping.
Hold on one second. In regards to your comment, Jermaine, you said that Trump wants to sell the F-35 to Saudi Arabia. I don't know how the country gets out of that. Once Trump is out of office, if a liberal or somebody else gets in there and they don't like the Saudis, I mean, once the deal is made, we may be stuck on that. The National Guard gangster grandma. Did you hear?
Bitch, I'm more black than you because you on your knees for the white man, you ratty raccoon bitch.
What is that? What the hell are we talking about?
Not you, Tim. You little fucking snowflake bitch that's on his knees for the white man.
Who are you talking?
Yeah, the ratty raccoony.
Who are you talking about?
Yeah.
Who are you talking about?
You one of your little uncooked. Ugh, God, man.
Okay. Did you hear about the National Guardsmen?
Yeah, dripping. I swear to God.
Are you happy about? Wait. Are you making fun of these people?
You know what? They shouldn't have took their ugly asses over there. So let me tell you something. If they wasn't over there, they wouldn't have got pew-pewed.
They don't have
And
a
I don't know
wait
what
a
the hell-
minute. Gangsta, they're in Washington, D.C. They don't have a choice.
Actually, they really do got a choice. They could have said unlawful because they know what they doing. They're not supposed to do that at all. They're not supposed to be going into our cities and stuff and tormenting them people. You know what I mean? They're not supposed to do that. They're not.
So
But
what
anyways,
are you viewing
I don't-
this? You viewing this as they deserve what they got?
No, I said they should have been there.
Okay.
They should have been there. All this shit's on Donald Trump.
So
He's making people drip.
So you do see their shooting is blood on Trump's hands.
Damn right. And you know what? And it is. It's the truth. And I don't even know. I bet you ain't. I put money on it. And I got money. I put money on it as a fucking white man. Drip, drip, white people. I swear to God. I'll tell you, the white on white crime is ridiculous. They say our black asses got black on black crime. We know who we be pew-pewing, and we know why we pew-pewing. These motherfuckers are pew-pewing up people that they ain't supposed to be pew-pewing up. You know what I mean? I tell you, there's some psycho ass, they savages.
So you
Now, I
believe?
tell you, these white people have lost their damn fucking mind. Unlive white on white crime.
So you believe these National Guardsmen were sniped on by a white guy? And by the way, folks, help your boy get that.
I put
Hold on.
money on it.
Help your boy get that TikTok crown. Help your boy out with that gold there. Thank you very much. But you believe a white guy did this, huh? What if? I mean, it could have been a black person.
I put money. I bet you was a white man. God lost his fucking white ass mind. I tell you, white people lose their damn eyes. Dripping the CK shit. You know what I mean? Dripping CK. I mean, I never seen that motherfucker turn left like that. Drip on that motherfucker.
He got hit. Wait.
Man, you know what that fucking Rowdy Rock 2 motherfucker was with a $15 ass job? What's his name? Jeremy.
Yeah.
Saying that we are more violent motherfuckers. They can't. And they said they know how to aim and shit. Well, there was 2 white team motherfuckers that were trying to take out fucking Donald Duck. And they couldn't even pew right.
Well,
Took one of us, we could have done it.
I'm hearing that
Unfortunately.
there is more political violence that comes from the left.
He really think that? Shit. No, we don't. You just got to give it to the white man. The white man will do it for us. Drip, drip. You know what I mean?
But there are
I mean, we don't got to do a damn thing. Black and brown people don't got to do a damn thing. We just sit back, roll a blunt, drink some Hennessy, and watch the white team man go crazy. They did it. They been doing it. Why do we gotta do it? It's not our black asses doing it. It's the white man doing it.
You almost
Hallelujah.
listening to you almost make it sound like white people are unstable or something.
They are. Tim. They are lost. They ever fucking love and mind. They pew-pew up our damn schools. They pew-pew up the damn churches. They're pew-pew. They tried. And I give them props. I give you props, mofos. They tried to take out the Donald Duck.
Now I know
They couldn't even aim fucking right.
wait, hold on. I know the answer to this, but I gotta ask you because I get different viewers. Hold on, I get different viewers every day, and I got Diane 620 in the comments. She says, "What is drip drip?" Thank you for the TikTok crown.
She's white. She don't know what leaning to the left is. She don't know what Lincoln is because she ain't from the hood.
What
Poor little
is
Tink.
drip
Poor
drip?
little Tink don't know what drip drip
Is drip
Oh,
drip
well.
is drip drip clothing? Having really fancy clothing?
Yeah, Negro. Are
Came-
you fucking serious?
Came through
Are you,
dripping.
are you really testing my gangster? Are you really trying to test my gangster?
Came
You know
through-
what drip drip is?
Came through dripping. Doesn't Cardi B have a song that says "Came through dripping"?
Yeah, we got a song that says drip drip to the white man. Drip.
So
tell you.
what does drip drip mean then? Be specific.
Tim, you are a black man asking me.
I'm asking you on behalf of somebody in the comments. I know, but I want
the
your.
white woman. Tell her to go Google.
I'm not the one saying it, gangster. You are. You're the one saying it, not me.
He's Lincoln. Does she know what Lincoln means? Good God. Does she want me to go get the hood book and tell you what the fuck leaking means. They got pew-pewed and they're leaking, for God's sake.
Okay. So in other words, somebody gets pew-pewed and they're leaking. That's called drip.
Like CK was dripping, leaking. I promise you, that was the goriest shit. So I didn't see these motherfuckers get dripping, but I feel bad for the National Guard. You know what I mean? But damn. You know, but that's the blood is on Donald Duck's hands, the orange orangutan. Now, I'm not going to talk shit about them because I don't know if they racist or not. But I know if CK was, well, damn, we got a lot more motherfuckers to do that.
How about President Trump's solution of sending 500 more troops to D.C.? Would that solve this?
Well, you know what, people, you know, I don't know. We need more white tea people to come out of the woodworks, but they're going to start using their Second Amendment, man. Now, I do not say I'm not saying it on them, but they are. They're doing it on ICE and everything else. Did you see that white old woman? That white woman? She's 70 years old. She brought her pew-pew out and told them to get off their property. They got the Second Amendment.
To ICE?
People are waking up.
This
yeah,
happened?
on ICE.
Wow.
People are waking the fuck up. Now they're going to go to my hood, 9th Ward, and New Orleans. What they got. Motherfuckers, you don't want to fuck with Joe down there. No. We got voodoo and everything down there.
Well, the original JG says, I'll give a goofy lady credit when she's right, goofy or not. What are you suggesting? My caller is goofy?
I ain't goofy. You know what I mean? But I am cooking. I got my green. I got everything cooking. I got my pies and everything. And I was just rolling up. Then I saw your ugly, orangutan looking ass. I said, this motherfucker gonna fluff tonight. I said, I got to add on. I could say, at least say, happy Thanksgiving to your ugly ass. I gotta be more proper though, honestly, because I got little minions I have to raise.
How about you be more civilized, Gangsta Grandma?
No, I cannot to be civilized to them. I cannot be civilized to white tea maggots. I cannot. That's in my culture. That's in my veins. I cannot. Maggots are maggots. They are roaches for fucking raid. Okay? Oh, that's send your black ass on that black conservatives. Can you get some fucking balls? I tell you. Balls.
Okay, you saw me debating on a live with black conservatives. What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong?
You know, I took his ass out the other day. I did, with his ugly ass orangutan looking shit. I sure did. I took that ugly ass and rang it out. And I squeezed his little nutsack, the little bit that he did have. But you need, when they tell you about the big, beautiful bill, you need to step up and say, you did say you didn't like it. You know what I mean? But see, they sucked the white man's cock so much, they think it's fucking popular. They think that they're not going to get hurt behind it. These motherfuckers are not billionaires. They're the fucking Negroes. I was going to say the other word, but I cannot. My bad. You know, but today they're the Negroes that swept it down. This mother white man is going to give them a stimmy check. Today,
there's a lot of black MAGA out there. Gangsta Grandma, there is a lot of black MAGA out there.
I know. And how fucking special are those cornball motherfuckers got the white cock deep in their throat, dragging on his balls, and they ain't gonna get shit from it. Ain't that bad a bitch?
But how?
Let me tell you, those are not good black men. Those are the fucking house ninjas that will sell us to the fucking white man, the black maggots. I do not. I take all they black cards.
How about this? Speaking of, you're talking about black men. In the comments, Aaron says, but I would rather be orange than black.
Wow. You know what? Shit. My chocolate melts in my mouth. My black man melts in my mouth. And I love me my black man. Shit. They more kings than any white man could ever fucking be. They don't burn out in the fucking sun. The more they work harder than a white man, and they don't have to beg for fucking food stamps. Get the fuck out. Shit. I love my chocolate man all day, every day, except for the black maggots. I ain't gonna lie. I love me some chocolate.
But you wait a minute. You love you some you love black men. You wouldn't date black MAGA?
Hell fucking no.
It's just politics.
Why the fuck would I ever want they sorry ass, no good for nothing, pinky winky dinglings in me, and they sold us out for $2,000 semi-check when they technically, the white man didn't give it to your dumb looking asses. It was the Democrats.
I mean, listen, there are reasons for black people to vote for Trump, though, is there not?
Hell no! What the fuck were you trying to conserve? Tell me, from a black maggot, what the fuck are you trying to conserve? I'm a conservative, bitch. Where? Where are you a conservative, bitch? What? Your juju juice?
Well, they might
Your
need.
what?
Listen,
Your what?
listen. I get your take on President Trump, but there are legitimate reasons for a black person to vote for him. There are.
What? Tim, get the dick out your mouth.
What
Get
the?
some chocolate coochie in your mouth for a goddamn change. Can you do that? When you say, what can I eat? Get you some chocolate damn coochie. Go back to being black, my ninja. Quit the white shit out your mouth. Get it out your mouth.
This has
Because
not.
you are bluffing again.
This has.
See, I can't even say hi with your ugly ass. I can't even stay hi with you. You are killing my buzz.
This has-
Okay? I can't. I got good gas up in my system, and gas suck fucking A. You're starting to fluff.
This has nothing to do with having dick in your mouth. This is about.
Yes, it is, because you're fluffing.
This is.
Well, what do they? Well, what? Tell me one thing a fucking black man has anything to do with a fucking white trailer trash that's in the office. What does he have that we can? What? Does he like us? Hell to the fuck you know. He wants us back in the fucking fields. He said, what did he, what?
What?
Said what?
Was it not? Was it not?
Wants us back
Was
in
it not?
the fields.
Was it not Joe Biden the one that said, "Vote for me or you ain't black"?
Oh, I know your bitch ass did not go there. I know your ugly fucking rally tooty looking ass didn't go there.
Did he
You
not
know
say
what? We
it?
shouldn't be voting for them. If you ain't going to black guy, you be going for Democrat. Yep. I said it, bitch, and what? What are you gonna do for a Republican? Be lynched? Hung? Like a fruit?
What are you talking about? What are you
want to
talking
get
about?
whooped in it? You want to get trained on you? You want to go back on a plantation?
Vicky says your parents need to teach you how to talk more respectful.
And you need to keep my parents' name out your fucking rowdy tooty looking ass mouth, white trailer trash ass bitch.
Why do you got to be so mean to my
Go.
viewers?
Tell your white women and your white man, your mama, your daddy, who's your baby, who's your damn pappy.
Okay,
Who's your pappy with your interbred looking ass? Keep my black parents out your damn name.
I say Vicky
Out your
and you.
damn mouth.
I
Get
said-
your damn. Get your damn.
I said Vicky, and you automatically assume this person is
Oh,
white.
yeah, she is. She probably is trailer trash. She's an interbred motherfucker. You're interbred if you voted for that motherfucker. You interbred. You gotta admit to it, especially down south. Especially down south, you interbred. Mm-hmm.
Well, Wardrobe. Okay, are you hurting the black race? Wardrobe Delta says this is how blacks get looked at as things.
Oh, shut the fuck up about how blacks get looked at. You motherfuckers, if we say boo to you, you motherfuckers piss all over your damn self. You guys are so racist, you scared of our asses. For what, I don't fucking know. You maggots can't even have the damn definition of why you guys hate us so goddamn much. You know why you probably do hate us? Because we know how to cook. We know how to we know how to fry us our damn fucking chicken and every damn thing else. You motherfuckers can't even comb your fucking hair. You guys can't even use a fucking damn comb. What the fuck ever. Okay, you guys have peel holes. You guys have to put everything in your goddamn hair to get the bugs out your fucking hair. Get the fuck out of here.
They don't know how to comb their hair, gangster grandma. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
they got peel holes in their fucking hair. Damn right. They got lice. They try to give it to our black asses, but our hair is so fine that they can't. Our hair is, you cannot.
Well, Arthur says at least we know what a woman is.
Are you really? Are they really gonna go there with me?
This is what Arthur says.
You don't even know who your sister or your mama is. Okay? You don't even know that is. You be fucking on your mama, your pappy, your dad. You don't even know. You don't even know what hole to be fucking in. Okay? That's how interbred you motherfuckers are. That's how your brain is fucking functioning. Don't say that we don't know what women are. We don't fuck our mamas, our aunties, our sisters. We surely don't want our 13-year-old kids knocked up by the white man. But they're trying their best right now in red states to make it legal to fuck on 13-year-old kids.
Wait a minute. You said we don't fuck our moms. You said that MAGA has
Oh,
sex
we
with
don't
us.
fuck our mamas, do we? Tim, what black peoples do we know they fucking their mamas, they daddies, they uncles, they ray-rays, they
Doesn't
cookies,
happen.
even their crack damn cousins. We don't fucking none of their asses. You know where we go? We go outside our fucking home and get some good dick and get some good coochie.
Ain't nobody
Okay?
having sex
We don't
with
have to step in our homes and fuck our Tom, Dick, and Jerry in our homes.
Gangster.
We go outside our home
Gangster.
and get our coochie. Do we not?
Ain't nobody having sex with their own mom.
Are you fuck? Tim? Take your ugly ass and go on YouTube and you'll see the white people fucking on their mamas. They even fuck
That ain't
and
happening.
they fuck their dogs and they fuck their cats. And what?
That ain't happening. Their
No.
own mother?
They have Tim, take your ass on YouTube and you'll see it. The white people lost their ever fucking love and mind. They be fucking their stepmamas,
Okay.
their stepdaddies, their cousins, their poppies inside their home. Our black asses do not go out
Well-
outside our home. We go outside our home and get the coochie and the dang-a-lang, and we get to keep it in the BBC
Well,
all fucking day.
I'll tell you,
Our family.
the stepmom category on Hub is actually not that bad. So real quick in the comments,
Oh,
here,
you're nasty. It was.
it's a category. That's all it is.
Fuck my
It's a-
stepdaddy. I couldn't fuck my stepdaddy. God, that's just mad. I don't
Okay.
even have a stepdaddy. I have a father. But anyways, I couldn't do that. I just go and get me some chocolate dang-a-lang outside my fucking home. Now I don't have to fuck my cousins, my uncles, or my poppies, or anything like that. There's some fine chocolate men to fuck.
And I see
outside my
I
home.
see in the comments, Captain America says, I am white. I'm not offended at all because she is right. Sticky Finger says, Tim, I think Gangsta Grandma got a lot of big drips today. Tell her happy Thanksgiving. And I care for her and she should care for you. Take heed to that. You should care for me, Gangsta. I got to move it on. I give you the last word.
Tim, okay, I'll tell you. I'll tell you guys, I care for your ass because you're a black man. Now, if I would not give a damn if you was a white man, then I would really go straight.
That's
ham on your
racist.
ass.
That's
Now,
racist.
that is not racist because you're black.
That is
But
racist.
anyways,
What
no,
you
it's
just
not.
said is
I'm just
racist.
fucking with you. Tim, shut the fuck up. You are the biggest fluffer ever. You bow down to the fucking white man.
I think you're a
I still
racist,
give a
Gangsta
fuck
Grandma.
about
I think
your
you're-
ugly fucking ass. I still give a fuck about you. That's why I go straight ham on you. I'm trying to get you some fucking balls. But unfortunately, you cannot. I got bigger balls than you and I got a fucking JJ, for God's sake.
And
But anyways, happy holidays, Tim, and get you some damn black coochie, chocolate coochie, anything else. Goodbye.
bye. All right. I don't know what she got my life visibly restricted. Anyway, looking in the comments, and I see someone said if she really is black, she is a bad example of what black people think and how they act. Well, look, you can find one individual from any group of people. That doesn't mean that one individual, because you hear me on the program. I run a 3-hour show every damn day almost, and you don't ever hear me talking like that. So look, and I'm black as well, I think. Some people are trying to take the card out of my wallet, but I think I'm black. Anyway, tap the screen, get us on up to 75,000. Ozzy Osbourne rocks. Isn't he dead? Tap the screen, get the like showing up to 75,000. Looking in the comments here, we love her, Tim, says 12 McAdams. All right, 12. Look, Gangsta Grandma's been a friend of the show. She's a little bit over the top. I get it. Some people on the left like her, people on the right despise her. But when I get some of my viewers that lean right on the program, the response is just the opposite. Some people on the left like them, some people on the right despise them. Tucker Carlson. This could be interesting. We'll move on with the program. I don't think my last guest came up, so we'll continue on. We'll try MAGA Reacts once again. Good evening, MAGA. Is this better now?
Yo.
Hey, you're following Gangsta Grandma.
What's up?
You're following Gangsta Grandma.
Yeah, I know. What's fun? Why does she keep saying Brady Bunch? That's nothing like the Brady Bunch. Brady Bunch is like two families, getting married and merging together.
Out
Sounds
of,
like all the kids she has are her kids.
out of all that conversation, that's all you remember is that shit.
Well, the rest of it is her calling you names, and you want me to pretend to be black and call you names?
No, I don't want you to pretend to be black or call me names. I want you to talk about the
No,
national.
I have to do the first so I can do the second.
I don't want you to do either. I want you to talk about the National Guard in D.C. and Trump promising to send 500 more of them to that city. Do you think what Trump is doing is the right solution to what has happened?
I mean, it's brought crime down. As far as I know, there hasn't been as many murders as normal. And supposedly this might be an act of terrorism because the guy that did it is an Afghan national. That's what Fox
really?
just said like 5 minutes ago, but it could be too early to tell. I don't know.
To be honest with you, by him putting the military out in the open like that, if somebody did have a beef with the military, he certainly makes them easier and more vulnerable to find. I mean, because he's putting them in neighborhoods and shit, whereas they usually are on bases and things like that. He's certainly making them more vulnerable.
Yeah, but who has a beef with the National Guard?
Does an Afghan national know the difference between the regular military and the National Guard?
I guess maybe not. I don't
So
know. Maybe you're right.
yeah, and but also too, keep in mind the National Guard was in the Middle East during the Gulf War, so they may have beef with the National Guard. They were there too.
Yeah, I don't see them doing anything that would cause such a beef, especially so much later. I mean, if you're that mad, you're gonna wait like almost 20 years.
Well, it depends. I mean, I'll tell you this: when you look at what's happening in Gaza, yeah, there are people that'll wait 10 or 15 years. If I'm 10 and I've watched them blow up an apartment building that had all of my relatives in there, when I get to be 20, 10 years later, I may have a real beef.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
Yeah.
That's, what if games is more Denkel's thing. You could ask him about that. He likes to, with Michael more like it. He likes to play what if games. You're probably right. But with me, I'm just going off what I've seen on TV. But the part that bothers me is the fact that, Grandma and the rest of these guys are coming on here happy that this happened. They should be somber. They should be upset that our National Guard is getting shot.
Yeah, I don't see any reason to like what has happened to them because at the end of the day, they're just following orders. But I do agree with the likes of Denkel and some of them other folks. I don't believe they should be there. You and I've talked about this before, but I think if you're concerned about high crime in a place like DC, the National Guard is not the way to deal with it. There are plenty of other trained entities that can deal with crime as opposed to the National Guard. I just think I don't think they were sent there to actually lower crime. If lowering crime is a side effect of it, great. But the goal was to stick it to the liberals.
I don't know. I'm not going to say you're wrong because it's possible, but it's also the only thing that Trump could do because Trump can't send in, more
Capitol
cops.
Police. He could have sent in the feds. He could have sent in the ATF. Could have sent in the
He can send in
DEA.
the feds. I'll give you that. He can send in the FBI, but the FBI doesn't patrol. They investigate crime after it happens. They're not good at patrolling and preventing crime.
But they're still better at dealing with citizen interactions than the National Guard. These people are doing they're doing like what, a weekend a month or something?
Well, we've proven that the National Guards don't need to interact with citizens. Their job is just to patrol. Their job isn't to arrest people or do anything else. Their job is just to be there. So when shit goes down, they could prevent it or at least, make a person think twice before they do something.
Yeah, to me, the best solution I've said before is just to blow up the size of the DC Metro Police. We're going to hire 500 new cops. Maybe the National Guard or some other force is going to be in town while we get these cops trained. But the goal should be putting in more cops, not military.
Well, Trump has no control over that, except for giving the DC government more money, which he doesn't believe in that government.
I think Trump is doing a whole lot of things at this point, MAGA reacts, that he has no control over, and he's proved he can do it. I mean, not to mention, did he even try that? Did he just assume I have no control? I'm not even going to try. Did he even attempt to tell the mayor of DC we'll allocate more money so that you can hire 500 new cops? Did he even try that?
I don't know, but I'm sure other people have tried. and the results haven't been that good.
Well, when you
That's
say
why I
other
think
people, you be talking about other presidents.
Yeah. You don't think none of them tried giving DC more money to clean up the crime problem and ended up with the same problem?
Perhaps they have done it, and crime came down, which is what they were releasing when Trump did this. Crime in DC was on a decline.
Yeah, because it was record high. Crime was record high. It had nowhere to go but down. If it went up, that would be crazy. Because peak epidemic and plus peak Biden, we had crime super high between the epidemic and Biden's lawlessness, and they had nowhere to go but down. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, you know what my take is on it, and that is if the whole goal was lowering crime, then why is the National Guard not in the most crime-ridden cities?
I mean, Trump barely got them into DC. He can't. I mean, he's
That's
tried.
not true. He sent them into Portland. He sent them into LA. He sent them into several cities.
I think he sent ICE to those places.
No, he sent the National Guard in some of those cities too.
Okay. I mean, even then, I think their job was only to back up ICE and protect some buildings. Their job wasn't to patrol.
I think the point I'm trying to make to you is if your goal is to lower crime, show us what you're doing to lower crime in some of America's most crime-ridden cities. And it's not there. You pick the top 5 most crime-ridden cities in America, and Trump barely has any of them that happen to be in a Republican state. He hasn't been there at all.
He hasn't been anywhere but DC, really.
I don't think he's been paying attention. He's been to Portland. He's been to Los Angeles.
They protected some buildings. They didn't really patrol or actually do anything.
They were there. They ain't doing nothing in DC. They're not doing anything there either. They're just standing around.
Then why isn't crime down by they say 50% or more?
Shit, it might just be because he's telling you that. It may not actually be true.
I mean, you tell me all the news channels are lying. I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
Well, let's just be clear. You and I both know Trump is known to tell lies when it comes to information regarding his own judging himself. In regards to the news channels, I mean, he's threatening to take news channels off the air. News channels do lie on behalf of President Trump too. That does happen.
Yeah, but not the ones on the left. And trust me, if crime was still up, you would hear about it day and night from all the people on the left.
I don't know if MSNBC or CNN is bragging about crime coming down in DC.
Yeah, exactly. But they're not bragging about being the same or worse. So obviously it's better because if it was the same and it made no effect, you would hear about it from MSNBC. I
don't think it's really changed that much is what I'm saying, Magarex. Crime has come down around the downtown capital area, but in the hood where most of the crime takes place, National Guard is not even there. They're not sending National Guard to park a Humvee in front of a liquor store or a gas station where a lot of this shit happens. They're guarding the government buildings downtown.
Well, maybe they should put them in the hood.
No, they're not.
Isn't that what Trump's trying to do by sending them to Chicago?
No, Trump is trying to stick it to the liberals. That's what I'm telling you. Trump, if Chicago voted in a Republican mayor and a Republican governor of Illinois, he wouldn't send the National Guard there no matter what the crime is like. He's doing it to stick it to the liberals. It's not about lowering crime, but if while sticking it to the liberals, crime gets lowered as a result, then yeah, we'll take credit for it. But the goal is to stick it to the liberals, not lower crime.
And there's no better way to stick it to the liberals than lowering crime, especially in their own cities. So he has to lower crime to stick it to the liberals. Just sending the National Guards alone isn't enough. He has to actually lower crime.
No, not really. I mean, you don't actually have to lower crime. You can tell people you're doing it, even if it's not happening. They're making it sound like most of the illegal immigrants they're arresting are violent criminals. And you talk about the media is making it clear that's not true. Most of the people they're arresting, the only crime they committed is they're here undocumented. They're taking tons of people.
We're not even about ICE. We're not even talking about National Guard.
We're not talking about ICE. And what I'm saying is that they'll lie in regards to the performance of one member of law enforcement. They'll do it to another.
I don't know about that. I mean, there's a difference between the government lying and all the media lying because there's so many sides to the media. and so many different voices. So they're not all going to lie.
Well,
And if Trump was doing a bad job in DC and crime is still high, we would hear about it from all the voices that are not Fox News.
you know, a good way to find out, because, you know, just like most major American cities, DC also has a local ABC, NBC, CBS, and Fox affiliate. You can go on YouTube and watch their 11 o'clock news at night. See what's on there. I mean, are they covering murders just like they would in Philadelphia or Baltimore on the nightly news? You can read the paper from that area on the internet. You can easily find out how much violence is still going on in that city because they're covering it in the media. I'm sure when the nightly news come on, people are still getting shot. I don't expect, because Trump is making it sound like you can walk the streets and it's just like a perfect area now.
But I do that with Chicago all the time, and there's fucking news of people getting shot almost every time.
Yeah.
Like, was it someone shot just the other day?
Yeah.
It was all over the news.
Yeah, but they're skipping the fact that if you do that to St. Louis or Memphis, the same thing is happening. They're targeting Chicago and skipping over violent cities. That's what I'm saying. The goal is to stick it to the liberals. If while doing it, the crime gets lowered, great, but the goal is to show the liberals, I can send the military to your town whether you like it or not. That's what he's trying to do. And while they're there, if crime comes down, then I'll take credit for that. But I wasn't doing it to lower crime, because other crime-ridden cities that are not liberal-based, I'm going to ignore those.
Okay, but look, man, this is a very complicated question. Like, I'm here in Miami. We don't have a crime issue here. We don't have a murder issue here. Does he get Bennett credit for it? No, he doesn't. But if it goes bad,
You don't have a crime issue in Miami?
Not really. No.
I don't believe that.
I mean, they've renovated everything. Like, we used to have Overtown. I think Overtown's completely gone. It's now called Midtown, and it's like all bougie and, you know, what's that word that they used to use when white people come in and take over everything?
Regentrification?
Yeah, regentrification. They already did that to Miami.
I ain't never heard of Miami not being crime-ridden. Right? Shit, Miami goes all the way back to Scarface and Miami Vice. That town is always known as being violent. You're the first to say that.
Well, Miami's also a little weird because, like I've said this many times on the live, it's literally 42 different cities. So what are you considering Miami? Just downtown Miami, which is the city of Miami, just downtown Miami.
If I dial 911 and the police car that shows up says Miami on the side of it, damn it, I'm in Miami.
Yeah, well, you could get Miami-Dade, which is our sheriff. You could get City of North Miami Beach. You get City of North Miami. You get Miami Beach. You get Surfside. There's so many different cities. Half of them say Miami on the side. Miami Garden, Miami Lakes, Miami Shores. Those are all separate cities within the all of like.
It's Miami Metro. It's the Metro, just like in Chicago where I'm from. If a major crime happens in the suburbs somewhere, like Charlie Kirk, people try to say, well, he's from Chicago when the motherfucker's from Arlington Heights. But if it's in the metropolitan area, it's going to be considered. So the areas you're naming would all be part of metropolitan Miami.
That's not how Miami works. The only time Metro-Dade will show up is if it's outside unincorporated Miami. That means that it doesn't belong to one of those 32 cities. Yeah. Otherwise, you'll have the main city come in, unless they ask for backup.
Yeah, I'm just simply saying that's...
It's crazy. Like, you call 911, depending on what side of the street you are at, you'll get different cops.
Okay, but even if you get different cops, that's just a suburb of Miami. That's still considered the metropolitan Miami area.
But it's not a suburb. They're their own fucking cities with their own mayors.
You can have your own. Every city has its own goddamn mayor. What are you talking about? Every town, only population 500, there may be a mayor.
Miami has like 42 mayors. And I'm not even exaggerating. It's that many mayors because it has that many cities.
Every city's like that, MAGA. Chicago has probably 150 suburbs around it, and all of them towns have their own mayor. That's how it works.
And they have their own police and everything.
Yes. When you dial the police, that even though Chicago's across the street, if you're in Oak Lawn, the car says Oak Lawn. If you're in Oak Park, the cop says Oak Park on it. Yeah, Maywood police. I'm giving you real towns. Bellwood. All of them towns are damn near across the street from Chicago. It's in the metropolitan Chicago area, and all of those cars have their little suburb names on it. Do you travel?
They're outside Chicago.
That ain't
That's
nothing.
why-
So just like if you live in Dallas, Mesquite has its own police, Richardson, Plano, all of them suburbs have their own cops. That's how America works. Where you from?
Miami's not the same.
Yes, it is. That
You gotta realize,
ain't. That's how
the city
it
of
works.
Miami is about maybe 10 blocks, 20 blocks total.
That's
Each
how
of
it
these
works
cities-
everywhere, MAGA. That's how it works. Every city is like that. If you outside of Baltimore, you can be down the street in another suburb. That suburb's gonna. If you down 911, that suburb has cars that has the name of those towns on it. That's everywhere in the country. You sound like you new to America.
Well, when I go to Orlando, I could be almost everywhere in Orlando, and Orlando police will show up, or Orlando sheriff.
But the
There's not
suburbs of
one-
Orlando have their own cars.
Not really. It's all Orlando. It's all Orlando PD or Orlando, sheriff.
You sound like somebody who don't travel the country much. You sound like you've never been out. I see Chris
I
says
don't
you
think
sound
what you're
like-
describing is the same as what we have here.
Yeah,
Because these cities are small. They're literally, some of them are just one street, one exit, and that's it.
I don't care if your town only has 500 people in it and you have a police car. The town next to you probably has their own shit, unless it's all done by the county. But most cities have a police force that has their own emblem and their own stuff on it. That's all over America. Even in the rural areas, it's like that.
But Miami as a city is still very, very tiny.
Okay,
It's
so
literally-
what?
Within one county, we have 40-something cities, and none of them are anywhere near as large as any
Most-
other city in America.
MAGA, most counties have 40-something cities. Most counties in America have a bunch. Where have you been? Even Los Angeles
I've
County,
been to
even Los
Chicago,
Angeles
and
County.
Chicago is a huge city compared to Miami. Like all the city, look, you could take all of Miami and you would fit it inside half of the city of Chicago.
It doesn't matter. Most towns, I mean, some of the Panama City, Florida, in your state, that's a small city. The cities that surround it have their own police cars. That's in your state. You should know what it is. Panama City has its own police force, and all the surrounding towns have their own shit too.
Yeah, but I'm talking about every street has a different city. Like I live on Ives-Dairy. If I go to
Miami ain't like
it's a
that.
different-
Miami is not. I've been to Miami plenty of times. It ain't a different city every fucking street. I don't know where do you. I gotta move it up. 'Cause you said some crazy shit.
Look at the map. It goes Aventura, Miami, Aventura, North Miami Beach, then North Miami, then Miami, then Kendall, then fucking Miami Lakes, Miami Shores. Every little there's every street is its own city. We have one city that's more Broward, but it's called Pembroke Pines. It's literally the two streets that make it up. Pembroke and Pines are two different streets. They took the two street names and called it Pembroke Pines because in between two streets. But if you head like a mile east, it becomes Hollywood.
Okay, well, all of that is considered. All of those different towns you're talking about is still all considered the metropolitan Miami area. It all is.
No, that's true.
Then that's all the point I'm
The
making.
city of Miami is just tiny.
At one point back in the landline days, all of those towns had 305 as their area code. Now there's been more area codes because of more phones, but all of that shit was the metropolitan Miami area. Doesn't matter what it's called. It was all 305.
That's true, but
Right then.
I'll show you a map and you'll see the difference.
I've been to Miami so many fucking times. I know what the map
Where
looks
did you
like.
stay? Where did you hang out in Miami?
Pork and Beans Projects, goddammit. Hialeah. I've been to Miami plenty. I gotta go. You're talking
Alright. But just crossing the bridge to the water is another city, and then if you drive like 10 minutes north is like not even 5 minutes north is another city.
Most places
And then
in
the
America, can say the same thing. If you cross
I
a
have
bridge, or
not seen it yet.
every place in America is like that. Let me moving on. Tap the screen, by the way. Get the likes up to 80,000. I've never seen that. Pork and Beans is a project where it was. It's no longer in existence. It was like row houses. They were white. Yeah, Pork and Beans Projects. Department of Education ruined our country. How? How the hell would you say the Department of Education ruined our country? I think the problem is we don't focus enough on education. In fact, that's why we have to import people over here, because their countries focus more on education. That's why you have to put Asians in hospitals and India in the engineering systems, because we make education here optional when they almost treat it as if it's mandatory. And what Trump is doing by suggesting that nursing is no longer a profession and is going to affect your ability to get student loans if you want to get a master's in nursing, anytime you make something optional, less people do it. Education should be considered as almost something mandatory. You make it optional. I always have this in regards to gun debates. The right suggests I don't like any gun laws. I don't want to force anybody to have training. I want to keep training optional. We'll recommend it, but it's optional. Well, then you're going to have a whole lot of people with guns that have no training on them. If you make education optional, people are going to opt out of it. And that's why we will always fall behind in many areas like that. And I do believe what President Trump is doing is going to make it even worse. You say, how is nursing optional? Well, I'm saying that President Trump is now trying to remove the notion that nursing is a profession, which would make it harder to get student loans, because they give out student loans based on certain. You can't just go out and get a student loan in basket weaving, for instance. The government may not cover your loans that you're trying to take out to go to a college that teaches basket weaving. Well, nursing is one that you're generally going to be able to get student loans. Well, if he starts changing this stuff, this may be it's no longer a profession anymore. So you may have a harder time getting student loans in that. And as a result, less people are going to do it, because you can't afford to go to college off your own dime. If the government does not loan people money to get in certain collegiate programs, those programs are going to see less people enrolling in them, because they can't do it on their own. It would have to be parents that can afford to pay the full ride for their kids. So I think that's going to probably lead to a greater shortage of nurses. I don't know why he's fucking with that to begin with. I don't know. That's crazy. Nurses are just as important as doctors. That is true. I don't. I said, just like your last guest. Yeah, I think that us falling behind it, and I do believe the Department of Education was created because of the Soviet Union, because they were getting further ahead of us in stuff like space travel and things like that. And we decided to we started realizing we need to focus on having an educated population. An educated populace will benefit this country in numerous ways: cures, technology, science, medicine, all that shit. If we don't do it, some other country will end up doing it, and we'll have to end up purchasing the fruits of their labor, whether it's purchasing their professions and having them work here, or purchasing the products they create. But if we don't do it, someone else will, and we will fall behind. Like, they got bullet trains and everything already in Japan. A lot of countries are ahead of us technologically. Our vehicles are behind technologically. A lot of our shit is behind because we do not. I mean, if you don't want to pay for people to go to college, which is where this country is headed, then you're going to make school optional. If you help people go to school, loans make it easier to get in programs and things like that, more people are going to do it. If you make it harder, less people are going to do it. The more hurdles you put to success, the less people will succeed. In other countries, they focus more heavily on education, got more educated people. And like I said, now you're talking about doing it in the medical field? That's crazy. That proves he lives in his parents' basement, says SGB. I couldn't believe he didn't know that suburban areas have their own police cars. He thought that was something unique to Miami. I couldn't believe that. Everything he was saying about Miami applies to every city. We have 40 counties in Miami. That's 40 cities in most counties. That ain't something new. Because we let old money dictate what we focus on. Yeah, what's happening is the old money, as you're putting it, I just say the wealthy, because new money is like that. I don't think Jeff Bezos is old money. Elon Musk is not old money, and their mindset is the same. The wealthy is not wanting to share, even if it means setting the country back potentially. They do not want to cover things that the lower people in this country may need, up to and including even loans and shit like that, even student loans and stuff like that. So, like I said, if you make education optional, less people are going to opt in. Real quick, in the comments, tap the screen, get us on up to 80,000. We'll take the next caller. By the way, you guys know how the program is ran. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. This is a MAGA-friendly broadcast. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you folks. We're on most weekdays. If you enjoy this type of open dialogue from all sides of the aisle, and if you're wondering how to call in, I see that all the time. The Handsome Liberal on TikTok, Tim Liberals on Facebook, and the Handsome Liberal on Instagram. You can call in and be one of the callers if you have any of those apps. It's free to do so. Anyway, and thank you. Wow. Appreciate you guys that helping out the program. Help your boy get that crown go. Thank you. Their alter ego. Shout out to you folks. Help your boy get the crown go. We're nowhere near that. Looking in the comments here real quick. If she really is black, she is, oh, that's way back. Talking about Gates to grandma. MAGA doesn't know what programs are federally funded. Clueless voters. Yikes. See Osby and James Harper. Appreciate that. Musk is old money. His family were in. Okay, so I got that one wrong there, James. You said Elon Musk is old money. Handsome Liberal, is this a glaze channel? What is a glaze channel? I don't know what that is. Department of Education allocated the funds to the schools. I don't see how America benefits if you get rid of the Department of Education. I just don't see how that's beneficial to the country. In fact, I'm on the side of thinking that many of these federal programs that Trump is getting rid of, or federal organizations, I don't see how USAID, I don't think that was beneficial to do that. It ain't like USAID was giving a ton of money to poor countries. We got rid of it, and now all of a sudden Americans are talking about how much money they're benefiting. I mean, Doge is the same way. I don't see how any of this stuff has benefited the average American whatsoever. There's been a ton of people hurt by it. Obviously, USAID and Doge hurt tons of people. I don't see where any Americans are benefiting from this stuff. Maybe in the future, perhaps, but right now I'm not seeing it. A paid leftist, I think, did this. What do you mean by a paid leftist? Oh, you mean the National Guard? You think somebody paid? You realize that who would pay somebody to do that? I mean, because obviously you're putting yourself on the hook for 2 counts of attempted murder of military personnel, which is a federal crime. You guys say the left pay for everything. Anytime there's a protest, you say all the protesters are paid. You know what I want? Evidence, proof. Show actual people. Because look, you guys said that the No King's Day protest was loaded with paid protesters. Okay, there should be plenty of evidence of people coming forward and say, I got this amount of money to protest, or you should be able to do undercover stings and show it. I'm not seeing any evidence of this stuff, but you guys always claim that the liberals are paying people to do this stuff. George Soros or somebody. Tim, that's not your argument. What is the benefit of the Department of Education? Well, first of all, I don't think every state can properly fund education in its state. If you return education to the states, there are going to be a lot of counties and cities that don't have enough money to do it themselves. Just like if you get rid of FEMA, there's a lot of states like, I don't think Louisiana could have handled the damage from Hurricane Katrina without FEMA. You need federal programs in some cases. There's some pretty fucking poor states out there. So I don't think everything should be left up to the states, because the states are not created equally. So I'm a fan of having DOE. Also, too, I don't believe that we should have 50 states with different educational programs. And I'm going to tell you this from a minority standpoint. I know for a fact, I feel confident saying it. Some of my beloved MAGA is not going to want to hear this. And tap the screen. I'll take the next caller at 80,000. My beloved MAGA is not going to want to hear this, but I'll tell you this. If education is left up to the states, the education in regards to what happened to minorities during the founding periods of this country will be taught completely different in the South than in other places. That's why I believe you should have federal standards, because I don't think the South would teach history accurately. I just don't. And wherever they are allowed to do so, they've been constantly trying to wipe out some of their awful sins of the past. That area would be teaching stuff that is totally different from other parts of the country. If your kid went to school in the South, and let's say in 5th grade, she got a job up north somewhere, and you had to move and put your kid in, in 5th grade up north, your kid would probably end up in 3rd grade because they would tell your child, look, you in New York now, the education your kid received in Mississippi, he only is equivalent to a 3rd grader up here. He don't know any of history. He's missing all kinds of shit. They ain't been teaching him. I don't think you want to let the states determine that, because some states will fall way behind. I really believe that. Looking in the comments, you got a point there. Yeah, I don't want that. I want a federal standard, because those in the Bible Belt areas, they would be focusing on religion and shit like that, and actual science and stuff. They would fall behind. The southern states would be terrible, and like I said, the teaching of history would really be bad. Probably have them going to school on Martin Luther King Day. Tim, your Department of Education has been a failure. You must give them an F according to your own standards. Give them whatever grades you want, Draco. I do believe we're better off with them than without. That's my take on it. Going back to the box, we're over 80. We'll go to James Harper. Good evening, James. 2 National Guardsmen in critical condition. Folks are already saying the left did this. Do you think this will be a political play?
No, because the timing is just way too coincidental.
What do you mean?
Because for one thing that nobody's mentioned already, DC federal judge already deemed it illegal that Trump had the troops in there to begin with, and they're supposed to be in the process of getting them troops out, pending if the Trump organization is going to do
An
an
appeal.
appeal.
Well, it's been ruled by the lower court judge that the National Guard is illegally there, but Trump has done well in some cases on appeal. So everything Trump gets, everything where Trump is ruled against, he's going to appeal. He don't take any loss at face value. Everything goes to the Supreme Court. So it's a possibility they may be ruled legal in the appeals court of the Supreme Court. And my guess is the Supreme Court is going to rule in his favor on something like this.
Right. Not to mention, like I said, this happened just like coincidentally at all the MAGA infighting, the like you said with the 6 senators that came out and said that not to follow legal orders. Why would they sit there? Why would somebody on the left sit there and go gun down a National Guardsman who hasn't done anything? Like they haven't like attacked anybody or anything like that in those cities. They just sat there. So there was no need to do anything to him.
Well, I've heard some people in the comments have said it's an Afghan national or something like that. And obviously, if you're from the Middle East, you got a reason to hate the U.S. military. So I mean, it could be something that has nothing to do with politics, and it might be more or less what we've done overseas.
Okay, and at the same time, like I said, remember, MAGA's been having all this infighting. Somebody attacking one of our troops in America. What better way to bring the party back together? That's why Trump and them is all jumping in front of this, saying like, "Oh, this is horrible. We're not going to allow this to happen." This is the perfect thing that he needs. The excuse he's been waiting for.
So you believe that these individuals being shot is something that could unify the Republican Party?
They're going to try to make it that way. Remember,
Yeah,
the Republican Party like pride themselves on being patriots, and what's more damning to them than a member of the armed services getting attacked?
Yeah, I'm looking at News Nation, and now they're at the bottom of the screen just changed, and it says News Nation now confirms it was an Afghan national. So there goes any claim that it's a liberal. This person is an Afghan national. So, I mean, look, especially when you look at the Trump administration, a lot of Afghans that were interpreters or that worked with the U.S. military and helped us against their own people in hopes that we would give them a place to stay here. Trump is deporting those people. So it could be an Afghan national that just found out he's up for deportation.
You're right. It could be something like that. But like I said, the way they're going to paint it is this was all on the left. They're un-American. They're traitors. They're going to take that and run with it. And then remember, Trump has also been wanting somebody to do some kind of violence against either ICE or the National Guard, so he can justify sending more troops in.
Mm. So he's sending 500 more in there. Do you think that would reduce the chance of this happening again?
No, remember back when we while we was in Iraq and Afghanistan, we did the surge where we sent in a shit ton more troops into that country for deployments and extended deployments. And what ended up happening? They thought that, oh yeah, this was working and attacks were going down. They just waited them out. That's all it is. Like Denkow said earlier, you send these people in, all they're going to do is they're going to go somewhere else where you're not going to be at, and then they go wait over there until people get tired of you and you go home, and then they go right back to where they were.
Yeah, and I've said that, but me and Denkow kind of covered that. Is that well, first of all, when you suggest you're sending them in there for crime happens for a reason. If you don't address the reason, I mean, just threatening everybody with incarceration is only going to work so long. But in the comments, real quick, there, James, one of the viewers says they couldn't get shot if they weren't deployed needlessly. Just saying. Do you believe that this is a needless deployment of having them in DC to begin with?
Yes, it's definitely a needless deployment. Like the National Guard, like they're aside from like basic training, like they weren't taught how to be police. They weren't taught how to like deal with riots and things like that. All they are is a show of force when need be. Unless there's a natural disaster, there's no need for them to show up anywhere.
Mm. So if you believe that they shouldn't have been there and they're there anyway, do you view their shootings, as I've asked other callers, do you view this as blood on Trump's hands?
Yes.
Wow.
What Trump's trying to do is he's trying to model himself at the world leaders that he feels are strong as. Do you want to know what other country has like their militaries all over the place inside the country?
North Korea?
Israel.
Well, Israel, okay. I'm assuming North Korea probably has something like that too.
Yeah, North Korea had something like that too. But if you ever been to Israel, if you walk into the mall, you get searched before you even walk into the building.
Yeah. Well, but Israel is constantly at war.
Yeah, they're constantly at war, but you got to remember, like, they're the ones that's usually the aggressors.
Not always. I mean, October 7th happened. I mean, they have bomb shelters all over Israel. There's terrorist attacks. I don't favor what they've done since October 7th. I think they've went overboard, but no, they're not always the aggressors.
They always go overboard whenever something happens. Like, it'll be like a skirmish between, like, some Palestinians and Afghani people at the border, and then next thing you know, like, they're trying to roll tanks in.
Yeah. Well, and you think Trump wants to pattern our country like that against his own people? Because the military is in Israel, but I don't think the Israelis view the military as mistreating them, do they?
No, they don't consider that because they're used to it. That's what Trump wants. He wants us used to having the military around all the time.
Mm. So what is he trying? I mean, is it possible to have the military around all the time and still maintain the republic?
No, because in order for us to do that, we got to pull. Like, in order to have a military force sizable enough to do that, we'll have to pull the military from outside the U.S. and bring them back in order to police everything like that. We don't have enough troops for that.
Yeah. And I said that earlier, is that if you want to have the military in a place like Chicago, you would have to have tens of thousands of people. I mean, you can't just send, 5,000 or 6,000 National Guardsmen to Chicago and secure a city that big. You're gonna need probably closer to 100,000 or more of them to do that. So, and like you said, you'd have to end up calling the military back home from all over the world to basically fill this country up with them. I don't know. You think Trump would be capable of even thinking about something like that, though?
You act like Trump actually thinks. He just wants to be the tough guy in charge.
Well, he's a successful businessman, and clearly he thinks.
No, Tim. No, he's not a successful businessman. Like 90% of his businesses fell short or defaulted on loans and ended up getting shut down.
All I know is the man is rich, and his wealth has continued to grow.
If that man was never elected president, he would not have nowhere near as much money as he has now.
Well,
He's He's been using the presidency to do that. Before he got elected, he's been using loans to keep himself afloat because he was bleeding money so goddamn bad.
I don't know, but I think if Trump had lost in 2015 and Hillary Clinton and never became president, I still think he would be a very wealthy individual.
No, he would have been. No, he would have been in trouble like he always is. Every time, if you notice, like banks won't do business with him now because every time he goes for a loan, he overvaluates his property to get a bigger loan. But when it comes time to pay for stuff, he undervaluates. When you do stuff like that, you don't deal in good faith, so no business wants to really deal with you.
I don't know. I mean, there were plenty. If Trump had not, because keep in mind, before Trump became president, both sides of the aisle liked him. If he was not president, he still had connections to the Clintons, and I mean, he had connections to the black community, the Mike Tysons. I mean, that guy he still was very well.
Tim,
you don't see this.
He had the optics. He had the optics of being very successful. Remember, it wasn't pointed out until he became president and his records had to become public that people started seeing like, oh shit, he's been bankrupt so many goddamn times. He's been failing so many goddamn times. There's even Saudi princes who even came out and said, when your ass was in trouble, I came and bailed you out by buying your stuff so you have money in your bank.
You can make a lot of money off of optics, though, James. Optic, if you can convince people of the image you're projecting, people invest in you and everything, you can make a ton of money off of optics.
And that's what he's been doing. He's been having people invest in his business ideas, and when they go south, they have to sue Trump because he sat there and he got them to put their money into a business while he uses things like junk bonds, and then when the business goes south, he can just dump those junk bonds, and he gets away scot-free while those people lose their money.
But you don't think all of his businesses went belly up. He got successful businesses out there.
He had, of all those businesses, it was the golf resorts that stayed up. The deal he had with the PGA and those golf resorts, they only stayed up because he let the PGA use those golf resorts. But before that, all he had was The Apprentice and that. And then he had to deal with Miss Universe.
I mean, he used to have fights at his casinos. I mean, you see some of the old Trump fights. You see Trump name. I mean, some of the old Tyson fights, rather. You see Trump name in the background. I mean, I don't know. I think you're.
And where are those casinos today, Tim?
Well, they're not around. But I mean, they were then.
Exactly.
They were then.
How do you bankrupt a casino, Tim?
I don't know. I still have a hard time understanding how that could have happened.
Because he was spending more money than he was getting.
Well, he's lived a really good life. He has fight at his casinos and lost money. He was bleeding money from those casinos, says Giant Robot. Thank you, Terry Hayes, for the support. Thank you. Appreciate that. I don't know. I guarantee. Go ahead.
One more thing, Tim. When Jeremy was on, he was talking about how like the National Guard had a more dangerous job.
Yeah.
He kept confusing the National Guard with the Army Reserve. The reserves, they go out and deploy all the damn time. The National Guard, they stay here most of the damn time because they're needed in case of a natural disaster. Yeah.
I told them that. I think you're confusing the military as well, because I said the same thing that when they were deploying the National Guard to Iraq during the Gulf War, that was unusual. There were plenty of people saying, I didn't join to go to war. I mean, you don't join the National Guard. It's a possibility, but it's not likely to happen, though. I mean, I don't know, because even during Vietnam, they didn't send the National Guard over there, did they? I mean,
no.
Yeah, that was unusual.
No.
So,
like, even when we did the surge, we weren't really sending like the National Guard. It was mainly reservists.
Yeah. Well, like I said, he didn't serve, I didn't serve, so I wanted to get some military on here, and that was DenCal to give a better side of that. But I figured that he just didn't know. So, and that is indeed what it looked like. So, last but not least, we talked about this earlier, but with Marjorie Taylor Greene resigning, do you think there's a chance before the midterms? Because some on the Democrat side are speculating that she's not going to be the only one that seeing how Trump could treat her, and she was about as MAGA and loyal as they come, that there may be other Republicans that resign, not losing the midterms, but resign before the midterms. You see any chance that may happen?
Well, it happened in the past. Remember when when a lot of the people that, especially ones that did the January 6th, what they do? They resigned. They didn't sit there. And then McCarthy resigned too when he fell out of favor as well. Like this ain't the first time that some of them has resigned. But like the way that things are going now, we have to see like how the MAGA and everything reacts to this going on, and see if like the infighting keeps going on. If the infighting keeps splitting off like it is, yeah, I can see them doing it.
Wow, because they only have a seat. They only have a majority in Congress by a seat or two. If a couple more Republican congressmen or congresswomen resign, Hakeem Jeffries could end up being the speaker before the midterms.
Yeah, he can. But you got to remember, like every time like Trump is down in the polls and things like that, there always seem to be like some kind of attack or something on the right, and all of a sudden his numbers come all the way back up. Like how he got shot and miraculously doesn't have a scar or anything like that, like not even a scab to show that he.
Are you suggesting that the president did not actually get shot in the ear? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
I am 100% saying that. You got to remember, this was the same guy that when he thought that somebody was about to attack him with a knife, like him and his security took off on the stage and got out of it. But you mean to tell me that somebody's shooting at him, which is way worse than like somebody running at a knife? He's just going to stand there and throw a fist up, talk about fight.
It is a bit odd though for somebody to be shooting at you and you throw a fist up. That is odd.
And then come on, Tim. Like they even have a video showing that like while that was all going down, there was somebody in Trump's security detail guiding photographers to take certain pictures so they get different angles to make Trump seem like he was more than what he was.
Yeah. Well, I hope the man wouldn't fake an assassination attempt. I really want you to be wrong on that. I want that to be some ridiculous liberal gibber.
You mean the same guy that says that he's 6'4" and he's 215 pounds and he's in the best health of anybody, including two presidents that actually worked out all the damn time?
I got to go. I don't have any answer for that. I don't have any, but yeah, I mean, Jesus Christ. So, what time? I'll be back. All right. So yeah, I don't have an answer for him. Would lie about his body size and weight when people can clearly see that, but he does. I mean, he's telling us right now Thanksgiving dinner this holiday is 25% less than it was last year. I think everybody can see that.
Oh wait, and Tim, for the people who keep saying like, how can he fake that? Well, first off, if you've been shot, not only did you get pierced, but bullets burn. So there's no way in hell if you got shot, you're just going to sit there and like raise your fist up or anything like that. Am I saying that firefighter didn't get shot? No, he definitely got shot, but it wasn't Trump that got shot.
That makes no sense why you would do that when somebody's shooting at you to raise your fist up and expose yourself to the shooter, but maybe he was told the shooter had been taken out.
We didn't even know that the shooter had been taken out. There's no way in hell he got it 60 seconds after like everything went down. Any protection protocol, like within the first a couple minutes, the president, like whoever the high value person is right there, they're supposed to be nowhere near that scene just in case something else might have happened.
Bro, the fact that they had that little woman that wasn't even Trump's height, she can't even block his body because he's taller than her. They should have nothing but They should have nothing but burly men around him. I mean, because he was able to fight and stand up, and I think he was even demanding that they get his shoe. Like somebody tried to kill your ass. Fuck the shoe. I mean, but
so if they couldn't move him, all the people couldn't move him, how are they going to stop an assailant that was going to run up and do something to him?
You're being too logical. James, I got to move it on, but you're thinking with logic in an illogical world, man. I appreciate you coming through.
No problem.
Great conversation. Looking at the comments real quick. Be consistent, Tim. You said all minorities are likely to side with Democrats because they represent more groups. So by your logic, you should have said most likely a liberal instead of there goes the chance he's liberal. Wait a minute, I don't get the end part of that. I do agree that, okay, you said, okay, let me read this again. You said, and thank you, by the way, Ed G. You said all minorities are likely to side with Democrats. I didn't say all, but most by far. Most minorities are going to lean left. And that was before the Trump administration. I think under the Trump administration, the next election, that's going to be probably record, historic like. I mean, the second coming of Trump has not been pro-minority at all. I mean, for God's sake, the guy's talking about getting rid of Juneteenth and shit like that. He's renamed bases back at the Confederate. So, I mean, you're not going to see a lot of minorities voting for Trump. And that's the black community. I mean, the Hispanic community is probably even more disgruntled with President Trump. But you said all minorities are likely to side with the Democrats. I do believe the overwhelming vast majority of them are now. You say because they represent more groups, and I do agree with that. The Republican Party do not represent as many groups as the Democrats. The LGBTQ has no representation. The Muslims have no representation with the right. There is minority representation, blacks, and there are Hispanics that lean right. But there are plenty of groups that have zero. Feminists have no representation on the right. So yeah. But you says by your logic, you should have said he's most likely a liberal instead of their goals. You're talking about the Afghan national. Well, first of all, if you're an Afghan national, can you even get involved in politics? So yeah, there goes the chance he's a liberal, because if he's an Afghan national, he don't have the ability to get involved in politics. He's not a citizen or anything yet. I don't know what his status is, but I doubt if anybody coming to this country as recently as Afghan nationals are getting deeply involved in politics, unless President Trump or a liberal leader is doing something that you feel is threatening your cause. Now, with President Trump deporting Afghans that fought on behalf of the U.S. back to Afghanistan, where they will be literally, viewed as a traitor by the Taliban and probably executed. Yeah, I can see some of them getting involved in politics. Shit, this motherfucker gonna send me back to the country that I actually worked against on behalf of the United States. Look, in my opinion, if you work on behalf of the United States in a war, there should be nothing that can lead you to being deported back to that country. It should be outright illegal, because that's akin to a death sentence. I don't care if you rob a bank in America. You should serve time or go through the U.S. justice system, but you don't send that person back to that country that they operated in favor of the United States against. That's a death sentence. And Trump is deporting some of them folks back to Afghanistan. That should be off limits. I don't think, just like you got folks that have served in the U.S. military, Hispanics and things like that, Mexicans that have served in the U.S. military, and then they get out and get a DUI or something like that, and they're getting deported. To me, once you have served in the U.S. military and been discharged honorably, deportation should be off the table. If you serve in the U.S. military and you get discharged honorably and you commit a crime after getting out, you go through the U.S. justice system like everybody else. You do your time, but you don't get deported. Deportation should be taken off the table. I don't care what you do. You go through the justice system just like any American does, and so be it. Pay your debt to society, whatever that may be. But to me, deportation, why would you train somebody in the U.S. military and give them our experience and then send them to some other country with a disgruntled mindset? That person has no initiative, no motivation to give a damn about America whatsoever. They could be valuable to tell secrets, whatever. They don't have any reason to have any loyalty to America whatsoever once you do that to them. Why would you train them in the U.S. military, then kick them out of the damn country? It should be off the table. Once you serve in the military, getting deported should be off the table. In fact, you shouldn't even let anybody serve in the U.S. military that doesn't have intentions of staying in America. Why would you train them on our shit and then send them out of the country when you know they could be pissed off and sell every damn thing they know? I don't get that. That makes no sense to me. We can't break into other countries and collect welfare for life, Tim. I'm not saying give anybody welfare for life. I'm saying don't let anyone in the U.S. military, if you're going to kick them out of the country. Once that person serves in the U.S. military, deportation should be off the table. If you don't think they are worthy to stay here, don't put them in the U.S. government. Don't put them in the military where they can learn things, learn classified shit. And obviously, somebody that's been deported, it wouldn't be hard to buy what they know whatsoever. They'd sell anything. I mean, they kicked me out this country. You treated me like shit. I'll tell you whatever you need to know. That's stupid. Say why they are being sent back. Anthony, some of them. Oh, you want to know why somebody who served in the military is being sent back? In some case, I saw one guy got sent back for a DUI. Look, the Trump administration is operating under a mindset of if you can deport. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if you caught this person shoplifting 20 years ago. If they got a green card, that violates the green card. Deport them. They're deporting you for any reason they can find. So it ain't like they served in the U.S. military and then got out and committed some murders. No, they deporting people for anything. In many of these cases, it's not even felonies. They're deporting people for anything. Let me go back to the box. Tap the screen, get us up over 100. So true. Some soldiers have invaluable skills and knowledge. Soldiers that fight for the country should be allowed to become a citizen. Yeah, I don't think you should put anybody in the military if they're not going to stay. You don't know what they learned when they were in the military, and once you kick them out, they have no incentive to keep that stuff secret. They have no incentive not to sell that to the highest bidder. The training you gave them, everything. I mean, it just makes no sense to have somebody in the military and then deport them. I mean, because that person's not going to be happy. So that person is really going to be disgruntled against the U.S. at that point. That makes no sense. They have a quota, nothing else matters. Yeah, 3,000 deportations a day is what they're seeking. And that's what's led a lot of them to deport as many as possible for the most mundane 3,000. You got to get everybody. That's why they're going to court and deporting people who obviously are not committing crimes. You wouldn't be going to court for immigration cases if you were a criminal. So the people that they're grabbing out of court, them are not violent criminals. They wouldn't show up. But if you need to make 3,000 a day, you got to get whoever you can. Pizza lover, you didn't come up. We'll continue on with Miss Mobetta. We have a weak law enforcement, very, very weak. I don't know about that. Miss Mobetta, looking good. Good afternoon. Look at you. Look
trying
at
to be
you.
festive, you know what I'm saying?
Bless your heart, my God. So how are you?
I'm good. I'm prepping. You know how we do the night before and do all that good stuff. I was raised properly.
Okay, I see that. So you've heard obviously what took place in D.C. with the National Guard.
Yeah. Again, Trump put them in harm's way. Now, what I'm trying to understand is he got up and said there is zero crime going on in DC. This is what he said, not me. And you go look at the video. And then two of your peoples get assaulted. You know what I'm saying? I smell a setup personally because it worked for him when he got elected the last time. It worked for him.
You think these people
when he allegedly got nicked in the ear, it worked for him.
Wait a minute, you said a setup. You're trying to tell me you think that the Trump administration may have something to do with these people getting hit, getting shot?
Setup.
No.
That's my opinion. That is my opinion. It's a setup because it got his numbers up. It worked for him. Tim, it worked.
You think
he's always reverting back to the things that work for him. Do you not see that pattern?
I don't think the guy would take part in the wounding of service. I mean, these people could die. They're both in critical condition. I see in the comments. I bet I see on News Nation it says suspect is not cooperating with police. I mean, and there's no reward for cooperating, so why not?
They don't care about people unaliving. They don't care. If my numbers get up, then my job was done.
You think
my numbers gonna get up, Tim?
Yeah, but you think to restore his poll numbers, Trump would be okay with death?
We've seen it happen. We've seen it happen. When he got up pumping his fucking fist, they was over there trying to pump a man's chest to bring him back to life.
What the hell do you think we elected?
Happen.
What do you think we elected? You think we elected somebody that's that bad?
And he hates this. He's so angry with this country. He don't give a fuck what happens. He's seen it as a cash cow, and now they put him in a position where I can control everything. I don't give a fuck about the law. We don't care about how the law works. You see look how many lawsuits and shit that's going against him. He don't care about none of that shit.
Yeah, but
you don't care about none of that, Tim.
Yeah, and Danny Dan in the comments says, "Do you think Trump cares about 2 military men's lives?" I mean, you're making the guy sound like Stalin or Hitler, like that. You're making him sound evil.
Well, see, he wants that type of power. He idolizes those type of people. People like Kim Jong-un and Putin and stuff. He idolizes them. They treat him like a fool. They think he's a whole fool. But he idolizes them.
I don't want to put him in.
He said he wanted to be king on day one. Did he not say that?
I mean, he said some things, but people would say
yeah.
And I see in the comments, Draco says Miss Mo dumber, so you have a detractor.
He can say what he want to say. I'm going to be nice. I'm not even going to respond to that. I'm going to let him. You can have that. You can think that I'm dumb. Go ahead. You can have that. I'm gonna be nice because you already know it could get nasty.
Well, the camera is very kind to you. I'll tell you that much. But I'm just. I mean, I don't know. You think the guy would be behind the potential killing of 2 military? I mean, look.
I don't put shit past him, Tim. I put nothing past him. I don't. You might give him the benefit of the doubt, but I don't. He showed me too much of how far he's willing to go to have his way. He don't give a fuck. He get up there and talk about people eating cats and dogs and all kind of shit. He was just talking about there was zero crime going on in DC with 2 of the National Guard being assaulted. This just happened today.
Here's a name.
He just said that shit yesterday.
Here's it. Ramanula Lakanawa. I can't pronounce it, but that's the guy's name. They're saying he's here on a visa. So, to my viewer who heard me say that, there goes any chance he's liberal. So he's here on it. So he has no right to vote at all. So
how they know? Listen, Trump had a whole brown man that was on the FBI's most wanted list right in the White House the other day. What more do you want to happen? What more do you need to see? I don't get it.
Well, I mean, this is the guy we voted in, Mr. Mobetta.
That's who they voted in. I didn't vote for him.
Well, this is our country, and
that's who we're dealing with now. But let's not get that twisted. I did not vote for his ass. Absolutely not.
I get it. But
he's got it, and it's been nothing but chaos in this country since he's taken office. Chaos. Show me where anything was calm.
Well, they would suggest that Biden had chaos under him too. They didn't, they said Biden was letting people.
Of course they would. Listen, Biden when he came in there, he was coming into a whole pandemic, which Trump had the power where he could have had nailed it at the head, but he got rid of the whole team that with advisors. He got rid of everybody that could have helped our country out at the moment. He didn't give a fuck. He went around talk saying that it was a hoax. Oh, just go sit in the sun. It'll go away. Oh, maybe he inject some disinfectant. He was saying everything that was against what was happening. All of that shit is on his hands, and so are these 2 officers. These 2 National Guardsmen. It's on his hands as well.
Damn. In the comments, Giant Robot said it's not our fault. It's not the Democrats' fault. We didn't vote for him. Well, that could be twisted because some would say if you hadn't put up a bad candidate like Kamala Harris, you may have not gotten him.
Here we go again.
So Trump.
Listen, for you to say she's a bad candidate, 75 million people disagree with you, Tim. That's a big number to say that she was a bad candidate. And not only that, it's not that he beat her by 10 million votes. It was only 1 million and some change. That's not a big difference, Tim. And if he didn't have Elon and Starlink to help his ass out, he wouldn't have won.
Well, I think she's a bad candidate because she couldn't even energize many of her own people to come out and vote. I mean, I think she's a bad candidate.
She lost because she supported the rainbow community and very, very feminine. We already know misogyny and homosexuality is not going to run anything in this fucking country. We already know that. They are not going to agree with that any way, shape, form, or fashion. They don't care how they cheat.
I just wish she had to talk to men instead of ignoring them. I mean,
I mean, maybe she could have took on a little more as far as that, but it doesn't matter. Even if she would have sat there with Joe Rogan, you know what they was gonna do? Shoot down everything she said.
Well, but
now, and if they really let's go in there and see what they're trying to do with the taxes. Take away federal taxes, but add in a sales tax. Up to a 30% sales tax. Do you know what that'll do to you when you go to these stores?
It wouldn't be good. But I just want to say, in regards to if she had would have talked to these different groups, maybe they would have not listened to her or whatever. I always say this, that as a politician, your job is to sell yourself to the people. As a salesman,
she's a horrible salesman. No,
huh?
I'm just saying. Maybe she is a horrible salesperson.
Yeah.
Trump is good at bloviating. He's good at inflating himself. That much I'll give to him. He inflates himself and he do that. But the problem is you got 77 dumb motherfuckers that believe that bullshit. That's the dangerous part. That's the dangerous part. It ain't him. It ain't just him. It's the people that allows him to do shit.
I always say, as a salesman, though, you can never throw your hands up in the air and say they're not going to listen to me. Every person you don't try to make a sell to is a sell you don't get. So yeah, people are going to turn you down. That's what selling is about.
I get it. I totally get it. But I do know anything that she had to say, MAGA was not going to listen. They wasn't listening. They didn't listen out the gate.
Yeah,
they
but
listened the first time and they won't go listen again.
Yeah.
I already know that.
Yeah, but Miss Mo better.
Some shit lined up that would have benefited them and our children. We wouldn't be fighting now for the Department of Education. We wouldn't be fighting now for health care. We wouldn't have been fighting over SNAP. The food lines wouldn't have been wrapped around the corner of these buildings, and I can promise you all of that shit.
Yeah, but Ms. Mo better, the Hispanic community was not MAGA. She lost a lot of them too.
Them Hispanic people are slow as fuck. They thought that their votes was going to protect them from the shit that he did to them. They thought by them putting on that red ugly ass hat that you got sitting back there, saying I wrote for Donald Trump, that it was going to save their ass from deportation. Now he deporting the ones that are actually here legally. Yeah. They don't give a fuck. As long as you look like them and your accent sounds like them.
Hold on. Here we go. Afghan national, 29 years old, entered the country in 2021 under Operation Allies Welcome. That's exactly what I was talking about. And they got on here, he was in the country illegally. So I don't know how he went from legal to illegally, but Operation.
Yeah. I don't know either. Well, see, they stop trying to focus on just Mexicans. And people from the southern border and go after and look at your database and see where everybody who's here illegally is at. And then you wouldn't have had this problem today. Because like I said, they were only targeting, and you can look at the numbers, they're only targeting Hispanic and Latino people.
What about Muslims now, though? Because this guy's from Afghanistan. Chances are he's Muslim.
He could have came with the man Trump had in the office last week. Who the fuck knows? Who knows?
He's been in the country since 2021. Let me just.
Could have been here longer than that. I don't know.
Well, that's what News Nation just put on the screen. But let me speculate here, and I could be wrong, as I always say. But he's been in the country since 2021. They got him listed as coming here legally, but he's currently in the country illegally. This is what I was talking about, where people who fought on behalf or spied or interpreted for America came here legally, and Trump started deporting them. It's very possible this guy could have received a deportation notice from Trump and said, fuck it, the military is open season now. He's been sitting in the country for 5 years. All of a sudden he finds out he's going to get deported, where the Taliban can now murder him. Fuck it, I'm about to go out in the blaze of glory.
I'm gonna go out with a bang. That's
right.
What he said. So my question is, why don't they send him back to his country like they sent the people that they blew up on the boat back to theirs?
Well, going back to Afghanistan for this guy is a death sentence.
Well, what are they going to do with him here?
Well, now that he's taken out two, but under the Trump administration, even though he shot two National Guardsmen, the Trump administration probably knows he would face a greater punishment if we just drop him off in Afghanistan and let them know who the hell he is than putting him in prison here. They may take his ass back.
This is my thing then. If that's the case, send him home. Then you won't have to deal with it.
No.
Send them home, just like you did those alleged Venezuelans that was allegedly bringing D-Rubs over here, and you pew-pewed the boat up, you caught some people and sent them back home. Send them home.
I can, as I stated, if you have served the U.S. military, particularly in a war against your own damn country, we should be responsible for letting you be in this country for life. I don't think there should be anything you can do to get kicked out. If you commit a felony, then throw him in prison or whatever. But you don't send the guy back to the country he helped you fight against. I think that's
right. That's a fact. And not only that, then they could use that shit against us.
Yeah. I mean, not only can they use it against us, but it would also discourage anybody in the future from helping out Americans when we need them. Like, these motherfuckers might send you back.
Yep, they're gonna be like, "Fuck them! Y'all treated me like an outsider. Fuck you too."
Yeah.
And hey, listen, like I said, I stand by anywhere there's a name like Trump is chaos. It's just chaos. It's been chaos since January 20th in this bitch.
Has he done anything right? Come on, Mr. Mobetta. The guy's he's done some things right, has he not?
What I give him is that he still got his followers sucking his cock. Now in my gangster grandma's voice.
Oh my God. You don't see Trump he hasn't done anything right at all, in your opinion?
He's caused more division. He's caused people to lose their livelihoods, all kind of stuff. I can't glorify none of that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Even if my mouth is terrible, y'all pardon me. Can you
really fault Trump for causing division? It ain't like he didn't announce that when he was campaigning. You knew he was going to be divisive.
You know who I fault is the Supreme Court for allowing him, for taking down the guardrails, allow him to do shit that they know he shouldn't be doing. First of all, when he came in there and created Doge and allowed Elon Musk in there and allowed them access to people's private accounts and all kinds. That's when it started. They was like, "Oh, we got a cash cow here. We got a cash cow here." It's crazy because you're supposed to be these billionaires and million. They just want more and more and more. They don't give a fuck who they run over to get it.
Well,
that's where we are as a country. We don't care. If, like he said, Ivan Drago, if he dies, he dies.
Well, there are a lot of Americans. I say this all the time because that was one of the questions of this show is, are you thankful for a new administration? Because this time last year we had Biden. A lot of folks are thankful for the Trump administration as opposed to Biden or even a chance of Kamala Harris. So what are they seeing? What are they not seeing that you see?
I'm like you. All of those people that voted for Trump, most of them people they were anti-black women. I'm sorry. That's my story and I'm sticking to it.
I don't say that.
I do, Tim. Listen, why you think they're so happy with the shit Trump doing? He taking away stuff from the Smithsonian. They're switching up the education. Now, most of the fields that were deemed professional, you know why they canceling them? Because they are mandated people. They're mandated to call the people who are harming children and shit like that. They're a bunch of fucking nasty ass, raggedy ass pedophiles. Oh, excuse me, P3DO.
P3DO. So you believe that Kamala Harris, unlike what I'm saying that she's a bad candidate, you believe she lost because of being a black woman?
Yep.
So if the same woman doing the same stuff, if Kamala just had been white, you think she would have won?
No.
Then it's not because she's black.
Not going to allow. I did not tell you before. They're not going to allow a woman. They're not going to allow no woman because Hillary beat Trump too. He was already conceding to her. He know he lost to her. But once they had those people fucking with them numbers, then he was like, "Oh shit, I won." Go back and watch the videos, Tim. Don't take my word for it.
So she lost because she was a woman, not because she was black.
As a woman, they would not let no woman, and let alone a black woman, run this motherfucking country. With the people like Stephen Miller, and it goes even beyond them. You talking about owners of the BlackRock and all kind of those big. There's people way bigger than Trump. But again, that'll take a whole nother show.
Yeah, I see Chris. Yeah, Chris in the comments agree with you. He says, Tim, the USA is not ready for a woman president. I don't know. I think Hillary Clinton came really, really close.
They think that she did. I'm telling you, Hillary beat him. I'm telling you. But they think that women are emotional, that we run on emotion, and that we don't know how to react to stuff. Who's more emotional than Trump? He get somebody say something about them. Shut up, Peggy. Shut up, Peggy.
I hear he's
little
in.
hair motherfucker go to True Social and start posting all kind of shit. Look how I'm telling you, he does not concede well. He doesn't take rejection well. He doesn't take loss well. Now watch what happens when the fucking red loses the midterms. He is gonna crash the fuck out. And I want you to bring this shit up when it happens. He gonna crash out. I'm telling you.
Well, Trump has never been invested in any election that he didn't claim fraud is happening. So this time next year, you're going to be hearing all kinds of cries about how the election was fraudulent. I mean, yeah, he's going to do that. He does that when Dr. Oz was running and he was endorsing Dr. Oz. Every election he's invested in, he claims fraud. That is a go-to complaint. So that absolutely will happen. I don't know how it'll turn out.
If you're claiming fraud, why are you only investigating the people that allegedly were the places where you didn't win? Why wouldn't you investigate the entire system?
Because he wants to win.
What I'm saying?
Yeah, I totally understand. Because
if it's all about fraud, why wouldn't you investigate the entire system, not just where you won?
Because that's what it's about. It's about winning and about fixing fraud. In the comments, though, listen to this. T. Perry, I'm about to say T. Perry. T. Perry says, you're on that Tim Scott vibe, kissing this clown's ass. He doesn't care about you. He just cares about his rich buddies. Do I come across like Tim Scott? Really? I love you, man.
I've been around you. I've been coming to your show a long time. I know what your show is. You know what I'm saying? You try to be as neutral as possible. A lot of times you do sound like you're fluffing. And, I'll call you out when you are. And when you're fluffing, you're one to give Trump a little more benefit of the doubt than most people.
I get a man credit where a man deserves credit. I got to move on, Miss Bombetta, but this is not Tim Scott. This is an original, handsome, liberal broadcast. You look good. You look good.
Thank you.
I'll give you the last word.
To everybody on here. Gangsta Grandma, I quoted one of you earlier. These motherfuckers, boy, they sick in the head.
Oh, my God. You have fun.
You know what? One question before we leave. I wanted to ask any MAGA. How many of those food lines did y'all go out there and see how many MAGA people was on them lines?
They probably wouldn't tell if they were MAGA or not. So you wouldn't know.
And go out there and ask, did you just support Trump? And they'd be like, yeah, we didn't vote for this. Yeah. Everybody you asked that voted for him. Oh, no, we didn't vote for this. Oh, we didn't vote for this.
Yeah. All right, Miss Mo. You be good. Don't get into too much trouble there. I see that.
Listen, I can't promise anything, but you should smell my house. This should smell divine.
Ooh, shit. All right, let me stop. I gotta go. All right, moving on with the program. Yeah, this guy, I'm looking on News Nation. They said this guy came in the country and he was 29, so he's young. 29. This is not a liberal by any stretch of the imagination, as I said. That ain't happening. King Mo, if it is, I'm on my way. Looking in the comments, none of us, we are working 15 hours or more a day making bank while we can. Are you saying that there was no MAGA in those food lines because you're all working 15 hours a day or more making bank? That ain't true. Most of the poorest states in this country, poorest counties in this country lean heavily red. Most of the I'm talking like dirt poor areas in this country. Most of the dirt poor areas in this country lean heavily red. They ain't working 15 hours a day and making bank. They might be working 15 hours a day. They ain't making bank. Plenty of people work 15 hours a day and don't make shit. Tap the screen, get us on up to 110. These women be super lazy. What are you suggesting there, Terry? You said these women be super lazy. Poorest and most uneducated lean red. I actually believe that's true, Cowboy. And I'll tell you why. What I mentioned earlier, when you don't focus on education, you know, when you don't focus on social programs that help people out and you leave it up to them to pull themselves up by their bootstraps, everybody don't do that. More people gonna fall behind. Now, anytime you put up hurdles to success, less people are going to succeed. Social programs help remove some hurdles to getting back on your feet and being successful. If you don't put them social programs out there, the people have a harder time getting back on their feet and being successful. And in the red areas, they don't favor social programs. They're anti. I don't think there's any social program that the right favors. I'm talking to SNAP, you know, student loans, healthcare. They don't favor any of that stuff. If you get sick, I shouldn't have to cover your health care. You should find a way to take care of yourself. I mean, they don't favor any of that stuff. So you're going to have education, like I said, student loans, you know, help with getting yourself educated. They don't favor any of that stuff. It's more of a, I got mine, you need to find a way to get yours mentality. Or better yet, I always use the old phrase from the 1990s. They used to have it on t-shirts. Don't ask me for shit. You used to see people wearing shirts like that. Don't ask me for shit. I don't care what you're going through. Don't ask me for shit. You can't feed your family. Don't ask me for shit. I can feed mine. You need to figure out a way to feed yours. Don't ask me for shit. That's kind of the way I see it, because that's what they always say about the left. You only vote Democrat because they give you free shit. Come vote for us. We don't give you nothing. That's kind of what they say. The right uses social programs. Are you serious? The fuck is going on here? I didn't say the right don't use social programs. I said the right does not favor social programs. What I mean is the right uses social programs that have been put in place by the left. But when them social programs were put in place, the right voted against them. Perfect example, the right uses Obamacare. But when Obamacare was being passed, the right voted against it. But once it's there, yeah, if I get in trouble, well, shit, I'll use it. But they voted against it. And that's most programs. SNAP, all of this stuff. The right is against SNAP. But if they fall flat on their face and it's there because the left has it available, then they'll use it. But if it's left up for a vote, it won't be there. Bro, I'm saving you. Okay, I've a couch. What do you mean there, Terry? Looking in the comments, I'm in writing lawyer present. I don't know what you mean. Ask Google who was the most illiterate state, Tim. I don't have my Alexa hooked up. I would like to ask Alexa, but when you say who is the most illiterate state, I'm going to guess it's probably one of the Bible Belt states. Am I wrong? Let me know. What is the most illiterate state? I don't know. You say California? I don't believe that. I don't believe that, Aaron. You're saying California is the most illiterate state? I don't believe that. All right. If you're right, I'll take it, but I don't believe that. Looking in the comments, you never believe me. Aaron, California, most illiterate? No, I don't believe that. If you're right, though. I don't believe California is the most illiterate state. Tim doesn't want to know the truth, says Robert. I'll take the truth. The truth sometimes suggests that I don't always get it right. If I'm not getting it right, damn it, I'm not getting it right. But looking at a lot of these red states, the cities are Democrat-ran cities, and when there is crime in Los Angeles, you don't just blame the mayor of Los Angeles, you blame Gavin Newsom. When there's crime in Chicago, you don't just blame the governor of Chicago, you blame you don't blame the mayor of Chicago, you blame Pritzker, the governor of Illinois. You blame the governors of these when the liberal cities fucked up, you also blame the liberal governor. But when the crime is outrageous in Democrat cities in red states, you suddenly stop blaming the governor. There's plenty of crime in Florida. I don't hear you blaming Ron DeSantis for crime. I don't hear you blaming Greg Abbott or Governor Abbott in Texas for crime in Houston or in Dallas. Some of the way you guys are doing this is bias. You attack Gavin Newsom constantly for what's going on in Los Angeles. But the Republican governors, You don't blame them at all for the crime. Well, it's a liberal city, so we'll just blame the liberal mayor. Knowing damn well if the governor of that state was liberal, you'd be blaming him too. So it's kind of a matter of we'll blame the highest liberal. The minute the person goes conservative, we'll stop blaming them. Then you're being biased with that. Tap the screen, get the likes on up to 110. We'll take the next caller. By the way, help your boy finish off that TikTok crown goal. Pretty close. The right is born relying on the government assistance. Do you think we are stupid? Huh? You said the right is born relying on the government assistance. Wow. Democrats are their scapegoats for everything. Everybody needs somebody to blame. Blaming Gavin Newsom is low-hanging fruit. Well, I'm just saying when there is heavy crime in Republican state, St. Louis and Memphis are more violent. Those two cities, the Democrat cities, but they're both Republican governors. Those two cities are violent than most cities in America. They routinely rank as the murder capitals in the country. And you don't hear the right saying anything about the governor of Missouri or the governor of Tennessee. They don't even talk about them. Atlanta's pretty damn violent. You don't hear them talking about Governor Kemp of Georgia. Don't even bring him up. They only blame crime on liberal governors. If it happens in Atlanta, well, you know, Atlanta's a Democrat city, but we ain't gonna say shit about the governor. That's his city. The governor should get blamed too. But when you get liberals, you go all the way up to Obama. They were blaming Obama for crime in Chicago. Obama ain't been mayor of Chicago. He got shit to do with that. He was the senator of the state. They went all the way up to Obama as president, blaming him for crime in Chicago. You ain't blaming Trump for crime in no city at all. Some of this shit is biased. That's all I'm saying. Some of this stuff is biased as hell. Tim is smitten by Miss Mo, but she looked good tonight. Be nice. Be nice. Because Gavin Newsom blatantly acts like it's not happening. And so, in other words, that's all it takes to blame him? Is him saying it's not happening? If it's happening, it's happening. No matter what he says. If Gavin Newsom said crime was happening, you would still blame him. You're making excuses. That's all I'm saying. If you're going to blame a governor, you should be blaming them no matter what party they're in. And definitely, if you're going to blame the damn president, come on now. It's like your favorite football team. What do you mean by? Oh yeah, there's some of that. I can see that people are picking their own team. That is kind of what is happening. Bias, we know exactly what it is, Chris. That's exactly what's going on. By the way, when you folks ask what's the phone number, I make it clear. Unfortunately, you can't bring callers up on YouTube, but you can bring them up on TikTok. You can bring them up on Instagram, and you can bring them up on Facebook. We are currently live on all of those platforms. So for you folks watching YouTube, if you ever want to come up live, just switch over to the Handsome Liberal on Instagram. We're live there at the same time, or switch over to the Handsome Liberal on, what are we on? Instagram. We're on Facebook. Tim Liberal's on Facebook. And of course, the Handsome Liberal on TikTok. So TikTok, if you got that app, if you got the Instagram app, and of course, if you got Facebook, we're on all of those. Terry Hayes, appreciate the support. Thank you. Hello, shut up till you answer me, demon supporter. Damn, Draco. MAGA like looking at California and complaining like their states have no... Well, here's the problem with that. MAGA is select, and I'm assuming the Democrats probably do this too, but MAGA is selective in what they complain about. Like they'll say that, you know, liberal cities are shitholes or liberal states are shitholes. They skip over different things that may make a state shithole. To me, having a large portion of your state's population that have no health insurance, or their reading and math levels are terrible, or the bridges and infrastructure's fucked up, that's a shithole. But MAGA, to make it more targeting of Democrats, they only focus on crime, because crime is going to likely happen in heavily populated areas, and all of those are Democrat. You don't have a lot of big cities that lean right, because diverse areas avoid the Republicans like the plague. Any diverse area usually votes left. Diversity and the Republican Party don't go together well. Out of the top 50 largest cities in America, I think 9 of them, only 9 out of the top 50 largest cities in America have Republican administrations. And you got to go pretty far down the list. So you got to start getting into like mid-sized cities. The big cities, top 10, top 15, they're all Democrat. I think one of them may have an independent, but diverse areas don't vote Republican. I think, but last time I checked, Oklahoma City was the biggest city that had a Republican mayor. And I think they're like the 15th largest city, Oklahoma City. So you got to go pretty far down the list before you encounter anybody that's Republican. I think one city has an independent, but and they keep voting. Most of them cities keep voting Democrat because, like I said, diverse audiences do not like the Republican Party. There's too many people in a diverse audience that the Republicans either speak ill of or leave that audience thinking the Republican Party hates them. Muslims or the Hispanics or the gays or the trans or the blacks. It's too many groups. The feminists, some of these groups think the Republican Party hates them. Republicans do better in environments that do not have a lot of diversity. They just do. Anyway, look at what is this? Cabrera says, why is that? Because that's who they address. That's who they, in fact, I'll tell you this, because there are some black MAGA, some black Republicans, some Hispanic MAGA, when you listen to, let's say Tim Scott, when he talks about because somebody said I'm like Tim Scott. When you listen to Tim Scott, when you hear his issues, they almost sound just like a white guy. It's the same shit. There's no police brutality taking place. I mean, he's gonna be for trickle down economic. It sound like this. He's against entitlement programs. He sounds like a white guy. In fact, if you put Tim Scott's stuff on paper and you didn't know what he looked like, you would think it was a white guy. But you can tell the difference in the Democrat Party because they are concerned with issues that are concerning these different individual groups. Hispanics got their own issues, blacks got their own issues, feminists got their own issues, Muslims got their. When you listen to the Republicans, even Republican, Muslim, Republican, it's all stuff that sounds just like it's coming from a white guy. They're not concerned with anything that their own group is typically concerned with. Most of the issues that concern the black community, Tim Scott either thinks those issues are not that big or they don't exist. And that's why the Republican Party just doesn't do well with diverse audiences because they're not concerned with those issues from those different groups. Anyway, I suppose I'll just hang out here in the comments. I appreciate the input. You are certainly not a far left extremist. Thank you. See, this guy is what liberals were 15 years ago. Democrats have lost their way. I appreciate that, HVAC, but I will tell you this. In terms of the Democrats losing their way, that's not something unique to the Democrats. You really look at Trump and you see the party of Bush or the party of Reagan in him. You see Trump in MAGA as anything resembling the traditional Republican Party. So both sides, the Democrats in many ways have went further left, further progressive, and the Trump side has went further right. Both sides are different. I don't think that the traditional Reagan voter would have any place in the Trump administration. In fact, many of Reagan's policies would be laughed at or insulted by Trump. I mean, Reagan was for amnesty. So it happens on both sides. But I thank you for your input, by the way. Real quick in the comments, Tim knows all and hears all. Tim is very wise. Okay, I can get with that. Sticky Fingers says, I'm very wise and you should listen to the man that can set you good for life. God damn, you're making me feel special. Remember, nothing good happens after dark. Oh, yeah, you're talking about my old days on ride sharing. Yeah, I definitely don't believe in ride sharing after dark. That is when most of the ride share drivers are victimized. I used to do videos on that before I got into politics. Driving for Uber or Lyft, yeah, most of the rapes, murders, and all of that shit. Carjackings, yeah, if you're driving at the dark, that's usually when it happens if you're a driver. Grinder might crash again at the MC Closet MAGA Fruit Cups. Yikes. Anyhow, folks, I do appreciate the 115,000. Thank you, folks, for tuning in. We're going to try to have a Thanksgiving show. We'll do it. I'm going to try to get it after the last football game. So it'll be a late show. We'll call it dessert with the handsome liberal. How about that? How about that? We're going to try to do a show tomorrow. Hopefully, a few of you folks tune in. Hopefully, both of these National Guardsmen survive, so we're not doing a show talking about somebody has passed away. Hopefully, that does not happen. And hopefully Trump doesn't, Trump has been known for releasing some terrible, terrible holiday messages. In fact, we covered them last year. I'll see if I can bring one up real quick before I go. His YouTube, his Truth Social. I always want to say tweets, but he's on Truth Social now. And by the way, we are on Truth Social. If you use Truth Social or X, follow us, The Handsome Liberal on Truth Social, The Handsome Liberal on X. We do live shows on X as well. So we do simultaneously broadcast on X sometimes as well. So, but we did this last year. His happy Thanksgiving and his happy, or better yet, Merry Christmas messages were terrible last year. It was just insult, radical left and all. I mean, it was terrible. So hopefully tomorrow that does not happen again from Trump, but he's been really bad at saying something as simple as Happy Thanksgiving or Merry Christmas. He's been really bad at that. Here, I think if I can see this without my glasses on. Happy Thanksgiving to all, including to the radical left lunatics who have worked so hard to destroy our country, but who have miserably failed and will always fail because their ideas and policies are so hopelessly bad that the great people of our nation just gave a landslide victory to those who want to make America great again. Don't worry, our country will soon be respected, productive, fair, and strong, and you will be more than ever before proud to be an American. That's what he said on Thanksgiving last year. That's fucking inappropriate. Even if you think it's true, even if you agree with what he said, you don't say that shit on a holiday. Even a lot of political shows like The Five on Fox, they don't talk strong politics on a holiday. They respect the fucking holiday. The president of the United States, you don't say no shit like that on the fucking holiday. God damn, is there anything beneath this man? That is not for Thanksgiving, goddammit. And he did the same thing on Christmas. The Christmas message, if I can recall, was even worse than this, and it was longer. It was actually worse. If you look up his Thanksgiving Day, or better yet, Christmas, Merry Christmas Day post, it's worse than the Thanksgiving one. That's fucked up. Anybody wondering where TDS, this Trump derangement syndrome, comes from? It's shit like that. You don't send that shit out on Thanksgiving. You just don't do that. That is nothing short of fucked up with it. I don't give a damn how many liberals have fucked with this man. You don't do that on Thanksgiving. You don't do that on Christmas. You just don't do that. His Juneteenth message was pretty crappy as well, but his Christmas message was worse out of all of them. I'd invite you to look it up. Anyway, Biden was so respectful, especially falling off his bicycle and falling upstairs. Anyway, I appreciate the 116,000 likes. I guess that somehow justifies this because Biden fell off his bike. Whoa! I cannot pronounce your name. Kabira. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Ain't astounding he was exercised. I don't care what Trump did. I don't give a shit what Biden did. If Biden is wrong, you don't follow up with this shit. The notion that anything Trump does that's wrong is somehow okay because somebody did it before him. Whatever happened to this guy was going to be, drain the swamp. He wasn't going to be a typical politician. Why do we keep comparing him to typical politicians? Wasn't he supposed to be above all this shit? When do we get to the part where people say he didn't do that? Anytime you accuse him of doing something wrong, well, let me point to somebody else that did some fucked up shit too. Whatever happened to him, just simply said, no, he didn't do that. He's above that. He's a good guy. He's a patriot. He's one of us. Whatever happened to that? We always got to compare him to somebody else that did something shitty. Is that the way it is? His goal is just to be as shitty as the last person or the person before that? That's what I'm just going to be a piece of shit because the person that preceded me was one? Is that the campaign? Vote for me. I'll be a better piece of shit than the last guy. It's your boy, Tim, the Handsome Liberal. Feel free to tune in tomorrow Dessert with the handsome lip. Catch you later. Y'all take care. Stay safe. Eat merry and catch it in. And thank you on YouTube as well. Crazy how some folks feel that, I don't know, just